Well, here we go. Happy Tuesday to everybody. How are you? Hello. Excuse me, my hair has to be... I didn't have a proper fluffer. Well, that didn't sound right. You know what? Welcome to the show anyways. I've got my green tea. I'm very happy about that. Because of the nature of the contrast and lighting on my channel, it looks just like water, but there you go. It's better than, I guess, the alternative where it looks even darker and it looks like I'm drinking my own sample. But hi, everybody. How you doing? There's, probably, there's a lot of big to-dos going on in the world of Trumpism. Just as I was getting ready for the show, I was researching, as I am wont to do, about some... Let me see if I can find the dude's actual whole page. Where it is. Yeah, there's... Okay, so this is the... All right, so let me... Hold on, pause. So there's this dude... here he is. I'll show you. He goes by Penguin 6, as you do. And Penguin 6 is at the White House. He's in Washington, D.C. He's your answer man. He's got an Arsenal hat on. He's clearly pro-militia, I guess. And this is fresh. This is 4 hours ago this video came out. And this guy fields questions for people that may have similar concerns to the Lauren Boeberts and the Marjorie Taylor Greenes previous to being elected, insofar as Facebook groups they may or may not have been enqueued with. And I want to show you his page real quick. So this is the dude's... Hi. The send-off on his page is, what are the black flags at the U.S. Capitol and why are they there? Okay. A number of requests have come in to film the black flags at the Capitol, along with a seemingly endless parade of buses at the U.S. Capitol. Went outside, made some video, both okay. So he makes videos of these things, and hi, everybody. And it's basically just him walking around D.C. for people who believe that D.C. has been compromised, that Biden is, obviously not in D.C. He's performing on a set at Amazon Studios in Seattle or something. And unfortunately, this guy and that was where he was initially starting up with post-insurrection. That was the idea, that he was your man on the scene to tell you, what was really going on. And there is, let's see, Washington, D.C., air defense missiles, like that kind of stuff, like secret stuff that's happening. Can you still see the White House heart set out by the First Lady? That kind of stuff. Because are they fake? Was it all set up so she could take a picture and then they would be sent off? Whatever. I will say, in doing my due diligence on a couple of his shorter videos, has reached the point where he's like, yeah, that's Biden getting into the beast. That's just how it is. But the one that struck me as kind of interesting was this one from 4 hours ago, entitled, "Is there burning smoke coming from the White House tunnels? Let me show you what I saw and read." This is, guys, we're going to be like inside like you've never insided before. This is the most... Sorry, I have to rearrange my headphones. So there is, according... And just so you, in case you're caught up, why anybody would care other than, oh my God, is the White House on fire? Oh, no, it's not. Okay, fine. Why would anybody think it's an important detail that smoke, or in this case, steam is coming out of tunnels somewhere near the White House as the temperature changes. And we all of us know, you guys know, I know, the answer behind, we know what's going on.
Q-snatch.
This is clearly what's going on behind the scene. This is a
Q-snatch
operation, and there is probably some of the ventilation systems in the White House have been attacked.
Piece of malware called Q-snatch.
That's right. So they have definitely attacked the White House with a piece of malware called
Q-Snatch.
So we will find out. But yeah, this no. I'm the one who said steam. This is the answer to why is there smoke coming out. Here we go.
Over the last couple of days, I've got a lot of questions from you guys concerning.
And by you guys, he means internet dumbass psychopaths who still think Linwood is right about Trump still being president. Just so you think that when he says you guys, I don't want you to take it personally.
Smoke coming out of the ground
Smoke.
near the White House. Lips.
Clearly, it's the female black VP smoking weed. I mean, we pretty much can. I mean, obviously, she's having groups of BLM supporters in these big, drug dens that she's setting up under. I mean, obviously.
And, well, I have a really good idea what it is, but show, not tell. So
but much better video. Thanks.
Down here at the White House, that's actually the Constitution Hall. White House is just around the corner. Let me show you what I found, and then I'll show you what I've researched, and I'll let you decide.
Yeah, because that way I can keep my video up and still wink and a nod that there's craziness.
Let's see if I go across the street here.
Great. It's fascinating so far. Riveting. By the way, they took the razor wire off the top, if you haven't noticed. They're tear down effectively. They're doing new security measures in case there are any nutcases. A lot of it's, like body heat trackers and early warning systems and that kind of stuff, and setting up better cameras, better night vision cameras, better motion detector related recording devices and that stuff, so that they can catch people like the pipe bomb person in case they come back. That's happening all over DC, as it would. Let me guess, if somebody broke into your house and you decided to stay in the house and not move because you didn't feel safe in your home anymore, or that kind of moment, would you add a security system? If you had a security system, would you go, well, that obviously didn't work, I need a better one? It's the people's house. I'm just saying the people need to upgrade their Simply Safe. Bum 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 bum.
I think we may have to get out our other camera.
Oh my gosh, clearly smoke. Look how wonderfully cloud white it is. It must be the purest smoke in the world. Clearly, there's some mass vaping going on, y'all.
A lot of cars tonight.
You mean people there doing their jobs?
It's kind of hard to tell, but there's actually 3 vents.
Mm-hmm.
They're almost in a straight line from where I'm standing.
You mean like where there would be underground stuff like a train and those kind of elements, and tunnels where they would have a ventilation system that might be working overtime because of COVID to clear the air out, or a new one being put in while the old one's being replaced, and therefore temporary ones are being put in? No, sorry. I bet that's me. It's probably witchcraft.
Connecting over to the building behind me, the Organization of American States. Let's go down to the south side.
Yeah, let's.
Should be able to see all 3 of them differently.
Very exciting. Yeah, clearly, right? I mean, obviously, it's anti-geese measures that they're putting out. We're being attacked by Canada. These are countermeasures. That guy's writing tickets. And on Polaroids, apparently. Oh my God, it's a mystery. What could possibly be going on? Yeah, there's a Delaware clam bake going on underneath the ground. '15th Constitution. Same homeless guy we saw the other day sitting on a vent. Doesn't he know that's fire? Could it be that it's warm coming out of there and the air is cold, and therefore when warm air with water in it hits cold air with less water in it, that never mind.
I don't have any cash today. I gave a guy money the other day. I don't think he even knew I was giving it to him.
Well, I mean, you really give it to him for him. It's really, to contribute as best you can. You don't need to be judgmental about it.
He looked up at me with this stare that said, I'm not really on this planet right now.
You or him? I mean, you changed pronouns in the middle of that, so.
Poor guy. All of the smoke seems to be in a direct line from where I'm standing right here.
Weird. Okay.
Connecting the Department of Commerce behind me, and
Clearly shredding machines.
heading over to DAR, OAS, and the West End government buildings.
The Western government buildings, the burning stuff and steam is coming.
It's pretty far distance, but you can just see it coming up over that minivan in the foreground.
Yeah.
There's
Right near the Capitol, is it? Right. I mean, I can barely see the cars for the Capitol. The Capitol is a capital of the White House. Where's the White House is smoking?
a few vents behind there.
Yeah. Heading back, there are homeless on many of the vents around town. Right, because warm air is coming out and it's cold, which often creates steam.
As a general observation, it's actually really, really warm back there. When you walk past that vent,
Huh. When you walk past the vent,
it's all hot, wet, moist air.
wait, it's all hot, wet, moist air. That, I'm having a brainwave.
Coming up.
Up, I see.
I can't be sure, but that kind of looks like the Beast up there.
It kind of nothing. It is the Beast.
President's limo. I know
Yeah.
that the president has an event at about 11:30 today. He's visiting a small business that's been impacted by COVID or COVID relief somewhere in the DC area. I don't know where exactly, but there will
Well,
be.
what good are you, honestly? Tell us about the smoke. And by the way, he's not making any fans saying that the president in terms of Biden, but he's,
The motorcade. Probably not going to film that one today.
Okay, thanks, man.
I think you guys get bored seeing the motorcades. So these buildings here are the old security gatehouses. There's one on this side. I think there's 4 of them around. They're not used anymore. So I have a theory,
Oh, good.
and I think I can prove that theory with this lens cap. If I can get this thing off. Hang on.
Lens cap?
Man, that thing was on tight.
It's not a lens cap. It's a filter.
It's not really a lens cap per se. There we go. This should prove my... So here's the glitch. There's a big vent coming right out of the middle of 17th Street, right next to the old executive office building in the White House. I want to go in that vent, but jumping out in the middle of the street...
Thank you, Diana. Yeah, muscle versions. She says, hold on, let me roll this back. She says, Diana, where are you? There we go. Video game controller evolves into a muscled version of itself under the world level plus, right?
Where there are cars coming in front of one of the most guarded, fortified, and cameraed buildings in Washington, D.C. Well, that's going to raise some red flags. So we have to think of a plan B.
Totally.
And I think I just found one.
Look out.
Dun, dun.
You're renting a Chinese bike? Uh-oh. Red flag.
This'll work. Oh man, this thing's loud as heck. Fix these bikes.
This is the master plan.
See, this bike is silent. They can't hear me coming. Well, maybe not. And there it is.
That's so weird. It's almost like none of us have ever seen an 80s rock video.
The lights just turned.
Steam coming out of a vent.
We're gonna wait till we get some red lights. Oh, there's a cop in the road too.
Uh-oh, they're onto you. It's the DOD. This is true underground investigation. This is the kind of journalism you don't get from the MSM fake news. Dun, 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 dun.
What is this? Yep.
Didn't get what on camera? It's steam.
It's
I don't know what. Thank you. Scientific study.
So basically, I do have to run into the traffic.
Yeah, this is great. This is awesome. This is the kind of stuff you get a Pulitzer for. Congratulations, Q people. You have this asshole running into traffic to see if steam is steam.
Because the lights keep changing.
It's probably a plot.
Lights effectively give 3 or 4 cars the right to get into the thing.
Oh, look, that's nice. There's a Marjorie Taylor Greene's letting you in.
This woman is letting me film it. There we go. You see that? That's steam. That fogged up my glass. Okay, let's go get out of here. Honestly, I have lost track of how many times I have filmed this part of the video. Either the volume was wrong, the microphone was off, a helicopter was going by, a leaf blower.
You were doing your Nordic track rower at the dinner table while watching your own pictures of yourself doing Abbey Road.
I don't know. It's been a bit crazy.
It's hard.
Anyway, I'm going to do it now. I'm going to finish it. Promise. So what you guys saw, what did you see on my lens cap or my lens filter that I stuck into the smoke coming out of the street? You saw condensation. You saw the results of steam. There is a steam.
God damn. And this is, keep in mind, this video has 34,560 views in 4 hours. It has 4,000 thumbs up. It has 4,000 thumbs up and 64 thumbs down. And I, honest to God, the commitment of these assholes giving it a thumbs down. What do you think the over-under is on the ones that think the video just sucked and was boring and had too many homeless people in it? Or just went, that is not steam. They're burning pedophores at the stake under the White House grounds. Seriously. This is my way of saying, and Benny Loco will remind you, please give a thumbs up to these videos, like and subscribe to my normal show when I do this shit, because for Christ's sake, 34,560 views in 4 hours. 4,000 thumbs up. What? To explain steam to QAnons. Yeah, no. And this is legit. This isn't even like the bot viewers for Rudy Giuliani Common Sense. Seriously. For Christ's sake. This is exciting as Mystery of Al Capone's Vault. Yeah. Seriously. Oh, and by the way, those of you that think like, oh, America's stupid because this guy exists. These aren't all, don't immediately think these 34,560 views are all just Americans. I mean, the majority of them might be, but there's nutcases all over the place that believe this stuff. Yeah, I thought it looked like steam, not smoke. 69 thumbs up. Sophia Lizzie, 4 hours went, yeah, I thought it looked like steam, not smoke. She got 69 thumbs up for that. For that. Yes, steam. You would have smelled it if it were smoke. Got 87 thumbs up. 87 87 people went, you totally would smell it. You would smell it if it was smoke. Yeah, they're cremating Biden. He started to stink. That only got 11. So, you know. No smoke conning out of any of those vents, though only by White House. So she's like, this is clearly a sign that it was no smoke at all. It was steam. Yeah. Steam vents. If it was smoke, it wouldn't have dissipated so quickly. I wish they were blowing up tunnels. Why? I mean, if you think Trump is still president, why would you want him to not have access to the tunnels? And if you think Biden is president, do you think Trump's not going to get reinstalled? What do you think's going on in the tunnels? Biden acts just like a homeless guy, just lost. There you go. Yeah. They're probably fumigating all the filth. Yeah, probably getting Trump out of there. Yeah. Looks like steam, not smoke, unfortunately. For crying out loud. I mean, you see what I'm saying? And again, please give a like and a subscribe and a thanks, a thumbs up and a follow and join and subscribe and stuff like that. Because really? 34,560 views for this horse shit. For some dude to tell you the difference between smoke and steam. Christ. All right. Back to real stuff. Now it's hard to pick what actually, like, how much I'd want to go. Well, let's go straight to Lynn Wood. While someone is playing video games to cover what the actual thing is about.
Where are all the arrests?
Okay, hold on. This is what made me laugh because I literally turned this on, and this is called On the Phone with Lynn Wood, epic interview. Is Biden really the president? Exclamation point. Question mark, exclamation point. Trump to be sworn in 19th president of Restored Republic, NCS WIC. I don't know where we go one, we go all is now something else. Does anybody know what NCS WIC means? That's my first time seeing that one. Must see latest Lynn Wood interview. Why would I see it? It's audio only.
I ask Lynn some tough questions, including what the heck happened to the 2020 elections? Where are all the arrests?
Yeah.
Is there any reason for hope at all?
Yeah, but mainly because Lynn Wood is insane.
And then after I ask Lynn my tough questions, I begin to ask Lynn Wood the questions that you are asking, the questions
that aren't as tough, because, they deal with, like, do you know the difference between smoke and steam?
That you want the answers to, including where should we go to find the truth if we can't trust the mainstream media? Why would he give us false hope? One of you asked the question, why would he give us false hope?
Who, the Lord or Lynn Wood?
Is there a storm actually coming by the...
No storm, just...
military, or was that all just hype?
That was just bullshit, Joel.
The U.S. election has taken place, and many of you have sent me a text message that said WTF.
Uh-huh. Thanks. Thank you, Paul.
Now, I won't translate what that means, I'm sure that everybody meant what the fun stuff is happening over there. Other people have sent me text that says, where are all the arrests?
Yeah, that would be, if I was in that crowd, I would be quite confused.
Getting the, and then is hope lost? And so I wanted to do...
No. I think she has a job at Mar-a-Lago now. She quit working at the White House early just to get away from it, though.
Because I wanted to interview a man who I consider to be my friend.
Friend.
A man who is an attorney.
Would a friend write? Well, not for long.
And a man who has made claims that he has seen some of the content on the Hunter Biden laptop.
Yeah, he hasn't.
And then that content actually made its way around the internet. And many of you saw it too. A man who has made claims that there was widespread election fraud. And many of you have read Sidney Powell's report documenting the election.
Oh, I did.
Election fraud.
Well, not documenting it. I mean, any more than a graphic novel documents Batman's adventures.
Documenting it and showcasing the election fraud. However, the facts have been on our side, but it would appear to many of you that all hope is lost.
Yeah, I mean, that's usually how it goes when the facts are on your side. I mean, is there a worse way to be screwed?
And so with that wind up there, Lynn Wood, welcome back onto the show. How are you, sir?
You know, there's a lot of flack coming in, but
Yeah, I can't imagine why, Lynn. Could it be that you're a fucking liar?
I'm holding up well, and a lot of that's because of my
Alcohol, drinking. It's a lot of drinking. By the way, somebody's playing Gears of War, I guess. And they're just using that as the audio cover. I mean, we don't really even have to... You guys can just look at my face, but it's fun to stop it. I don't know.
wonderful messages I received from many of your listeners and others.
Oh, yeah.
And primarily because I love God, and I know that He's with me, and He gives me hope, and He...
to carry on. He lights up your life.
Tells me and teaches me that He only works for good, and...
Yeah, that's why we have people like Jeffrey Epstein in the world who escaped justice or whatever. Only works for good.
While He does it on His timing and not...
Yeah, not on man's time, I mean.
Not mine. I have confidence in God, and I have faith in God, so that we're going to all be okay, even if we're going to have some difficult days ahead.
Well, what I wanted to do, and I'm not...
Yeah, that wasn't the question. That wasn't the spiritual nature of everything's going to work out in the end, you know, in your pseudo-Buddhistic Christianity babble that you're throwing out there just to cover your ass. That wasn't the question. Will God oversee all things, and is your faith in God shaken? The fuck does that have to do with you lying to psychopaths for months, and none of the stuff you said was going to come true comes true, and suddenly, you know, it's God's timeline, not mine. It's God dragging ass.
Not at all comparing you. For anybody out there, calm down. I'm not comparing, Lynn, you to Martin Luther King Jr. I'm not comparing you to Jesus, and I'm not comparing you to Paul. But I am bringing up three examples of people that Martin Luther King Jr. thought that
who never came back from the dead.
People should be judged based on the content of their character.
Right, I agree. I think that's important. And I am judging Lynn Wood based on the content of his character, not on the weird purple eyeshadow he wears.
Color of their skin. Jesus was murdered at the age of 33, crucified for sharing the good news. Paul was...
Well, no, I mean, he offered himself up to overcome death, and his crucifixion was all part of his plan. So anyone involved in it, from the Romans to Judas, played an integral part, and without them, it doesn't happen. As a matter of fact, you could argue that Judas and the soldiers that nailed him up loved God more than the apostles did, who didn't have a stomach for it and split as soon as shit went sour.
Was beaten 39 times on 5 separate occasions, and then he got to write 13 books of the Bible while in prison as a result of being a disciple of Christ. And so many people listening right now are experiencing persecution.
So they're basically MLK, Jesus, and Paul.
For the first time in their lives.
For the first time? Oh, well, that's probably why they're so shocked. They're new to it.
They've been on Facebook sharing Lynn Wood,
just like Paul was,
interviews and facts, and they're sharing all this. And now,
well, facts, that's might be the problem.
Their friends are like, see, I told you. So I guess my first question.
So their friends are like, see, I told you, you're a fucking idiot.
Question for you is, what happened with the election?
Yeah, what happened? What happened?
And what is happening with the election?
What's happening?
Well, let me preface my answer by first picking up on what you just talked about. The Bible teaches us without question that if you follow Jesus Christ, you shall be persecuted. Not maybe, you shall be.
Yeah, but it doesn't say that only the followers of Christ are persecuted. It may guarantee it for the followers of Christ, considering that they were believing in a Messiah that the rest of the Jewish people didn't believe existed, and they were kind of in the neighborhood telling everybody else in the neighborhood that they're assholes. So it can kind of put you in a difficult position, but it doesn't preclude that other people are persecuted and kind of have it coming. You see what I mean? There may be some overlap, but it's not one without the other.
Every persecution is finite. You don't ask why. You just
You just go, maybe, hold on, could it be that I'm a prick? No, and don't even ask yourself those kind of
basically say,
questions.
God, what do you want me to do with this? And at the end, you'll usually find that it was a blessing in disguise.
Yeah, it was a blessing in disguise that Trump lost and that you were called out on your lies dozens of times. It's actually a blessing to a lot of the Q people, because if even a shred of this shit seemed plausible at any point along the way, it might have justified their madness going forward. But thank God you were such a shitty flim-flam man, Linwood.
You'll get closer to God. Maybe your family will get closer to God. Maybe a stranger will come to God.
Yeah, just randomly,
So suffer through the persecution.
Yeah, just enjoy it, really. I mean, what's a little whack on the tuchus?
It's not to be, it's not unexpected. In fact, you're told that's what will happen.
Yeah, but it's not just this. You aren't being. No one in the Q world is being persecuted for their Christian faith at all.
Now,
As a matter of fact, largely you're being persecuted for being false prophets in one end, and then on the other end for just frankly being grifters.
what happened to the election?
Yeah, what did happen? Tell us, Lynn. What happened?
Trump won.
All right, well, and that settles it. No wonder. Well, I can't imagine why you're being persecuted.
He won a landslide, I think historic landslide election.
Well, I would take the word think out.
He knows that. That's why he's never conceded.
Well, he has a couple times, actually.
What's going on now? You said something about it appears that we've got Biden. It appears that Trump has given up.
It appears Biden is writing legislation, getting bills passed, and it appears that Trump is golfing.
Let me go back and say simple truths or simple truth. Appearances can be deceptive. I believe that we have right now an
A government by golfing?
illegitimate government. I think we have to realize that communism has taken over our country without firing a shot, and they
And largely Trump is to blame.
now installed an alleged administration that is essentially controlled by communist China
Well, yeah, I mean, you would, wouldn't you?
through money.
Well, why would the communist people control someone with money? I mean, this just sticks in my craw. Does this bother anybody else? Wouldn't you, in theory, people listening to the sound of my voice, theoretically, if you were going to be controlled by the communists, you would do so because you believe in communism, which is the opposite of sort of being baited by capitalism, one would think.
Through blackmail and through other mechanisms where communists get control of you.
Okay, so communist blackmail, where they blackmail you with, to each blackmailed according to his needs, right?
So I think that while I felt like this would be resolved earlier,
But yeah, you're dumb, so.
while I fully at times have expected to see arrest because serious laws have been broken.
Really? Yeah, why haven't there been arrests? Ask him that question, rando
by
dude.
many. We got to remember that we don't work on our time. We have to wait on the Lord. And
Yeah, but there are men's structural time that certain things have to happen. Trump's not going to be president on God's timeline in 2170.
it's His timing that will take place. The events that people want to see today or yesterday or in 2 days, in a week. While we want them and we can anticipate them and we feel like there should be action taken, those events, from my view spiritually, are not going to occur 1 second before or 1 second later than God has planned for them to occur.
Oh God! Just shut the fuck up. Like, I don't know. I can't. This thing is 50 minutes long, and it's just a bunch of garbage. And we have real elected representatives to deal with.
Mandates.
So, Marjorie Taylor.
Ladies and gentlemen, Marge Green.
Taylor Green, a couple of weeks ago we had you on, and I asked you about some of the conspiracy theories they've accused you of still holding. You believe that
What?
Sandy Hook actually happened and that Adam Lanza was the gunman, that 9/11 was an attack carried out by Al-Qaeda. I've been telling people that
Let her say it. Greg, ask her the question. What do you believe about Sandy Hook?
talked to you.
What do you believe about 9/11? Ask her the question.
When I find you reasonable and
well, it's very easy to find someone reasonable when you fill in the blanks for them.
interesting and not crazy, and they keep coming back. No. And one thing they keep coming back at, and I would love for you to address, what's this whole thing about the lasers and Jewish people? I don't, there's so much fake news out there. Would you address whatever the heck that's all about, please?
Yeah, address the Jewish space lasers that let me guess, you never said Jewish space lasers. Gee, where would I get that? Because the name of the video is Marjorie Taylor Greene, I never even said Jewish space lasers. That's true. She did say lasers shot from space that were made by a rich Jewish family. We came up with the phrase as a collective group of people going, oh my God, this bitch thinks Jewish space lasers are a thing.
Sure. I actually have no idea because I've never said that phrase or typed it Jewish space.
No, that's right. You've never said the phrase until now. You've never typed it. I don't know what that means. A lot of stuff comes from your videos. But you asserted that lasers from space controlled by Jews started the California wildfires.
Lasers. But this is a story that some leftist journalist.
Yeah, journalist came up with. Let's see. How hard would that be? Let's see. I don't know if Greg Kelly has a staff where he could, Martin Taylor Greene, Jewish space lasers. Let's just try and find, blame wildfires. Okay. New York Magazine. Let's see. What kind of lefty rags? Here we go. Forbes. Let's see what Forbes said. Written by Bruce Lee, so it's a trusted source. You may have noticed that Jewish space laser has been trending on Twitter. After all, it's not every day you see a racial or demographic term and space laser used together. Indeed, how often do you hear things like black spaceship or Latino lightsaber or Chinese virus? What? I guess he was getting to Chinese virus as a thing. Okay. Actually, let's ask a question. How often do you hear things like black spaceship or Latino lightsaber? I think that's cute. Turn Jewish space laser in her post. Let's see. It emerged really sort of like a piece of something floating back to the water surface in a toilet bowl. Colorful, Bruce. In her post, Taylor Greene suggests that the 2018 California wildfires may not have been due to climate change leaving vegetation drier and more combustible. No, instead, she advanced the theory that, drumroll please, some kind of space laser had lit things on fire. Yes, you heard that correctly, a space laser. As they said in the movie, squeeze me, baking powder. Usually when the word space and laser involved in explanation, you're sort of reaching, saying, honey, I didn't call you after work because the space laser caused interference. It's very weird. Nevertheless, as the following tweet with Taylor Greene's original post showed, she suggested this space layer may have been concentrating the sun's energy and created a solar beam that set parts of California ablaze. Naturally, right? While real scientists have long said that climate change is left, now you say such things as why is describing what would technically not be a laser. All right, who cares? Trending phrase, words, Jewish of it for Vox. Anti-Semitic conspiracy theories about the Rothschild family controlling the world have frequently surfaced in the past. In fact, editorial board for USA Today wrote that her Facebook account contained racist, Islamophobic, anti-Semitic views, which doesn't sound very nice. Beauchamp stated that Taylor Greene's space laser theory is the latest in a long line of conspiracies about the Rothschild family, and those conspirators are always, at root, anti-Semitic since the 19th century. Geez, okay, public health crisis, while people, speaking of Star Wars, has such a guard. I don't know. This guy's being really cute. Let's go forward in this. Here's Vox. I don't know. I want to see the actual post. I think somebody's brought the actual post up. Let's see. In this show, I went there 3 days of the Pittsburgh shooting. President Trump, a House Minority Kevin unbreakable link with conspiracy theories, origins of Christianity, Jews and early Christians argue, repeated, blah, blah, blah. Oh, that's lovely. Anti-Semitic cartoon. Never pass up an opportunity to post one of those. QAnon, conspiracy theory, and anti-Semitism. Elmar, that's a long-time dependent. Do it with other House Republicans step to Capitol, blah, blah, blah. There's no parallel phenomenon on the American left. Okay, this is just to get, like, going into it. I'm trying to find the actual post, because in it, it's, yeah. There you go. Here's J-Posts. They might have the actual text, one would think. In a 2018 Facebook post written by Green was unveiled in which a future lawmaker blames California wildfires on Pacific Gas and Electric Company in conjunction with the Rothschilds. The Jewish family has been prominently featured in anti-Semitic conspiracy theories for about 2 centuries. Apparently, according to Green, Rothschilds Inc. started the fires using a space laser, and it was its goal was to clear the way for a high-speed rail project. You can read the entire bonkers thing on Media Matters. Oh, look at that. You can learn Hebrew in a second. I just accidentally clicked on that. And then, of course, comedy ensues. So, yeah, so she did. Yeah. Rothschilds, Inc. Jews.
Really, he's an activist. Wrote a hit piece on me. And
well, a lot of people wrote about what you said, and they all came to basically the same conclusion.
Entitled it Jewish space lasers. And so, the left-wing media, they just run the same lies over and over again.
Yeah, it's the big lie, but the Jewish space laser version.
And they call me an anti-Semite and say that I've said something like Jewish space lasers, and I never did.
No, you just said the Rothschilds were in charge of the space lasers sunbeam that started the fires to make way for a high-speed rail to make money.
They even put my tweet, or it was a Facebook post from a long time ago, in their article.
Yeah, a long time ago. 16?
And it shows in that Facebook post that I never even said Jewish space lasers. So it's one.
Yeah, that's a mocking term encapsulating your argument in an embarrassing way. Yeah.
Again, it's just the nonstop radical left-wing media doing what they've done. We've seen it.
Yeah, Forbes. Those crazy radical left-wing media people.
The last 4 years with President Trump, and it's their playbook. And this is what they do to people like me that refuse to back down.
A few weeks ago, I also heard you say that as a believer in God, that you let it.
Yes, I believe in God. I'm not going to say which one.
Let all know. And I think you said something about not being a lukewarm Christian. And I'm curious if you've been able to
behave like a Christian since then. Have you thought about in your lukewarm Christianity? Maybe being a real Christian, like acting like
Pull
one.
Your faith on Capitol Hill. How has it entered the conversation? Have you had opportunities to...
Yeah, has anybody looked at your behavior and gone, she seems Christian? It's funny, like, unless she brings it up, no one would even know she believes in Christianity unless she says the buzzwords, because her behavior is, yeah.
To do so.
Well, it seems I'm actually able to do it nearly every day, because I truly believe ever since I was sworn in on January 3rd, all I've seen come out of the Democrats is a true attack on God's creation. And in Genesis in the Bible,
a true attack on God's creation. That's all that has come out of the Democrats since then. So rejoining the Paris Accord is it isn't because it economically would hurt the country or that kind of stuff, but trying to improve the environment or trying to pollute less is a true attack on God's creation.
It tells us that God created us male and female. In his image, he created us. Well, on January 4th, in the rules that the Democrats put forward, they literally erased gender pronouns and family names. And that was a direct attack on God's creation. And then we're seeing it.
It was? So I see. So the Thai people, for example, that have a third gender in terms of ladyboys, that, and the like, that they're just always attacking God's creation, just by existing, and therefore anything that happens to Thailand is God's retribution. Okay, cool.
over and over again in all of these bills and these agenda items that the Democrats are pushing through. It's a constant attack on gender. And then now we're seeing it's a constant attack on children, their core identity. They're basically trying to brainwash children in every single way.
In every single way. All right.
To not understand how God made them. And, there are children.
Why? Why would an option make me question my intrinsic knowledge about myself? I mean, I knew when I was a young man and when I was a teenager and when I was a kid what gay people were, but that didn't change my sexuality because that option existed in the world that didn't have anything to do with my intrinsic nature and allowed me to believe that they had that as part of their intrinsic nature and it wouldn't interfere with my intrinsic nature. Why? Oh, because weak people like you raise shitty kids, I see.
Children that go through identity crises.
Crises.
But the numbers show and statistics show that most of the time in many of these cases, once children finish going through puberty and grow up, they really are comfortable with who they are, either a male or a female.
Yeah, that's the majority of times. Absolutely. We're not talking about that. We're talking about the ones who aren't and who need help outside of that. And that's why the process is a very long one, and it properly, as best they can, separates those two groups. Does that mean that the other kids don't exist? No.
And so I keep reminding every time I can on a floor speech, I remind Democrats and everyone that's listening that this is God's creation, that we are created male and female, and you can't change it. No matter how many times you try, you can't change it.
So, so you're really blonde, is what you're saying.
Marjorie Taylor Greene, I happen to know that there are a growing number of liberals who are very uncomfortable with the gender conversation that's happening in America. You might have more support out there.
Well, yeah, we're uncomfortable with the kind of denigration tactic that you guys always take. While other people are trying to humanize and deal with the complexities of the issue, that you guys are just painting this kind of two-stroke, broad brush, high contrast bullshit over it that vilifies people when they're vulnerable.
Then may seem obvious on that issue and many others. To be continued, Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene, Republican of Georgia. Thank you.
Not for long.
Thank you, Greg.
Okay.
Jesus Christ. Thanks, Greg. And believe me, this isn't all the MTG we have today. She joins Diamond and Silk later, which I think we'll all learn a lot and grow. I laughed, I cried. It became a part of me. The one big piece of news, and I do want to address this, is Trump's cease and desist letter to the RNC, taking away their ability to use his name and likeness to raise money, and how they're reacting to it. This is Newsmax's take.
Monday edition of the Chris Salcedo Show here on Newsmax TV. Glad you folks could make it. Serious threats, they are mounting.
Uh-oh.
That are setting the United States on a course for a fiscal meltdown.
A fiscal meltdown? Look at that. The NASDAQ is down 351 points, 2.78%, excuse me. And let me see. Oh, the Dow Jones is up a point. Okay. Sorry.
Threats, they are mounting, that are setting the United States on a course for a fiscal meltdown.
You're on a course for a background meltdown, dude. Seriously, what is happening? Like, did you watch Glenn Beck's show and just have a seizure? What the shit is this behind you? Just 4 flat screens with just every graphic you can possibly... I don't want one shot where it looks like I'm in front of the Capitol or some shit like that. I just want every possible graphic. We spent this money. God damn it, I want it on the screen.
And societal instability. The genesis of this threat is our own government in this case. It's not too late, though, for
thank God,
the people to take some action.
Okay, we the people have to take some action. Clack, clack.
But if you don't take action soon, it may very well be too late.
Sure. Yeah. Where do I go? What do I do?
You might want to seek out and share this preamble with your friends and family.
He calls his opening blather the preamble because it's got like a constitutional thing to it. And what would really help save the country from the economic crash that's coming is his preamble.
For moments, we will detail actions you can take to stop this looming calamity. Trump to the GOP, cease and desist. That's our focus in tonight's preamble.
Great, very exciting. So screw the economic crash that's coming. Let's talk about Trump writing a letter to the RNC about branding.
Over the weekend.
Okay, sorry, I'm very hot. They're very quiet. Hold on. Oh, it's because this video's turned down. There we go.
And the socialists passed their massive, poorly run liberal state bailout bill. Anyone calling this bill a China virus relief bill is either incredibly dishonest
or a bigot. Nobody's calling it a China virus relief bill. Yes, only Chris Salcido, professional asshole, uses the phrase China virus relief bill in serious discussion.
Or incredibly unintelligent.
Well, you just did, and you're incredibly unintelligent. Well played, sir.
In fact, the only idiots calling this a China virus relief bill
are bigots and assholes like yourself who say things like China virus.
A bill that only dedicates 10% of its $1.9 trillion to the China virus-related relief efforts.
No, the relief efforts have to do with the economic impacts of it, the vaccinations and the PPE and the ventilating of schools and stuff. It's more like 35% of the overall bill.
These are the same people that called Trump's travel ban affecting 6 of 49 majority Muslim countries a Muslim ban. These are some of the most...
Yeah, he called it that at one point.
...morally bankrupt people in our society.
Yeah, they're so morally bankrupt, they refuse to use Chris Salcido's China virus relief plan moniker.
And they're working to make this country fiscally bankrupt.
Uh-oh. Fiscally bankrupt? How?
Aside from bailing out idiot left-wing governments...
Texas and Florida are going to get the majority of the money. New York's only 4% down. California's tax revenue is actually up. Florida and Texas need the most help.
This fake...
So does Tennessee. Tennessee's going to get a shit ton of money.
China virus relief bill forces taxpayers to fund some pretty outrageous things.
Uh-oh. Outrageous.
The fake China virus relief bill sends checks...
Is the disease fake or is the... Okay, never mind.
...to felons and illegal aliens.
No. By the way, this is the same standard as anybody who, did the previous bill, which all of them voted for. So this hasn't changed. Who's getting the relief checks is the exact same people who got relief checks last time. Of course, I don't think Dylan Roof filed a tax return. Maybe they did. Maybe in the last year they decided, Dylan, you should file because you're going to get, that's a sweet $1,400.
Socialist Democrats want to make sure that hate-filled racists and murderers like Dylan Roof and terrorists like the Boston bomber Dzhokhar Tsarnaev receive $1,400 checks courtesy of you.
Wait a minute. Let's see. Hold on one second. Let's see. Prisoners got COVID relief checks. Trump. That'll find it. I think. Let's see. Where in the world? How hard would this be to look up for the... Oh, let's see. Fact check. There it is. Fact check. Prisoners also got relief checks for pandemic bills Trump signed and Cotton voted for. Arkansas Senator Tom Cotton, a Republican, is attacking Democrats for passing a pandemic relief bill that will send money to prisoners. Dzhokhar Tsarnaev, the Boston bomber, murdered 3 people and terrorized the city. He'll get a $1,400 stimulus check as part of the Democrats' COVID relief bill. Cotton tweeted on Saturday to his approximately 142,000 followers. I beat him, by the way. Thank you very much. Cotton, who voted against the bill, posted a near-identical message on Facebook to his 308,000 followers there. He has me beat there, clearly. But then he's got an entire district, so what are you going to do? Thank you, Flying Night Slasher. Trump will return. I know it, unless China or Biden kills us first. What? He'll return. Yeah. Let's see. Cotton tweeted a similar message about Dylan Roof. Complained again, prisoners getting checks during a Fox News interview on Monday morning, saying it was a crazy Democratic idea. Cotton's attack on Democrats was echoed by Madison Cawthorn, the Peckerwood tree beater. Lovely plumage. Funding convicted killers. Democratic COVID bill gives mass murderers taxpayer money right out of your pocket. But Cotton's attack left out a highly relevant fact. Facts first. Prisoners also received checks from both pandemic relief bills that then President Donald Trump signed and Cotton voted for. Neither the bill Trump signed with Cotton's support in March nor the bill Trump signed with Cotton's support in December contained any language prohibiting prisoners from getting relief funding. The Trump-era Internal Revenue Service did try belatedly to prevent prisoners from getting money from the first bill, but tax law experts across the political spectrum said the IRS had no authority to do this, given that tax law did not exclude prisoners. After prisoners filed a class action lawsuit, a federal judge ruled in October that the government had to let prisoners have access to the cash. The IRS did not try to pull the stunt with the second bill, said Kelly Dermody, a lawyer for the plaintiffs in class action lawsuits. They didn't even bother to try in the second COVID relief bill. We can confirm that Tsarnaev and Roof in particular are among the prisoners who actually received relief funding from the two bills Trump signed. Many prisoners had to submit new paperwork to the IRS in order to claim the money, a significant hurdle for some of them. But it is clear that convicted murderers, like other people convicted of crimes, were generally eligible for the Trump-era payments, assuming that one, Mr. Tsarnaev's adjusted gross income fell below $75,000 in 2019 or 2018, and that he possessed a valid Social Security number, and no one could claim him as a tax dependent, then he would have been eligible for the two previous checks issued under President Trump. The fact that the Trump-era bills did not exclude prisoners was especially noteworthy because the stimulus bill President Barack Obama signed during the 2009 economic crisis made prisoners ineligible for checks unless they had very recently become incarcerated. Cotton's past vote. Prisoners, like other individuals, were eligible for checks up to $1,200 from the first Trump bill and $600 from the second one, depending on their income. Both of these bills were approved by the Republican-controlled Senate, and Cotton voted for both of them. Okay, just to clarify. This is the Daily Wire quoting Tom Cotton.
Taxpayers. The bill would also give stimulus checks to migrants who come to the U.S. legally but overstay their visas, thus making them illegal aliens. The fake China virus relief bill also funds abortions overseas, because socialists believe that...
No, it doesn't fund them. It just removes the moratorium on speaking about abortions.
Every American supports slaughtering the children of black and brown people in the womb in other countries. The fake China virus
he said that.
relief bill also dedicates your great-grandchildren's taxpayer dollars to the tune of $135 million for the National Endowment for the Arts.
Yeah, to keep places open so that your grandchildren will still have them and that we will have a functioning culture rather than let it all collapse.
$86 billion in union pension bailouts. By the way,
because of funds not coming in because union jobs were not happening because a lot of people were either going to get laid off or were temporarily furloughed and therefore weren't paying for the... All right.
There are no such bailouts for non-union Americans.
Huh? Yeah, there are. They're largely in loans and grants for businesses that are too small to be unionized. As a matter of fact, the union pension bailout is in fact a form of balancing of that part of the bill.
The bill funds over $100 million for a Silicon Valley transit expansion project.
No, it doesn't. I think that was taken out.
And $1 billion.
But let's pretend it is for him.
For socially disadvantaged farmers and similar groups, meaning our farmers get help, but only if they have a skin color that is preferred by socialists.
You mean while we're busy? So that's okay. So Democrats are all in, wholesale in on the abject slaughter of black and brown babies. But if they happen to grow up and become farmers here, like we missed them, we give them a prize. Congratulations for making it.
That's, of course, racist, by the way.
Is it? So affirmative action is racist. I see. So people who've been denied loans and the like before because of their skin color should never get made whole or given an equitable situation, especially when it comes to loans, because that's unfair to you.
I could go on, but if I did, this
preamble
would never end.
It never does. I mean, this basically is your show. It is a blather.
In February, the Washington Post warned U.S. federal debt to exceed size of economy, even before Biden's stimulus is approved.
The yearly size of the economy, not the overall size of the economy. Our economy is worth about, value-wise, about $230 some odd trillion, and we have a $21 trillion economy every year. If you had a house payment, if your house, does anybody here have a house that when they bought it, cost, like the literal cost of the house, all in, was the equivalent of 1 year's salary? No? You mortgaged it so you could get more house out of it, raise your quality of living over time. What'd you do? 35-year mortgage? 15-year mortgage? So 15 to 35 times whatever your outlet of your money, so you can take what, maybe 10 to 25% of your overall economic take in goes to pay for your home so that you can have a nicer home over time, so you get a 20, yeah, okay.
The report outlined the Congressional Budget Office's worry over unprecedented debt already incurred due to government's stupid and unscientific lockdowns to combat the China virus.
So Trump was stupid and unscientific, I see.
CBO noted that lawmakers had already spent $4 trillion of your great-grandchildren's money, and the majority of that money has not even been spent yet. But socialists, they want to add
Well, they didn't spend it. It was grants. The majority of the money you're talking about is grants and loans, loan guarantees, effectively. And if no one takes those loans, there's no need to guarantee them, so that money hasn't been spent. And when it gets paid back, the majority of it will get paid back. It'll actually make a profit.
$1 trillion more.
Literally, the Fed made money on the 2008 crash over time on the Recovery Act. The Recovery Act made money. So did the Mueller report, by the way.
This bill is so big. This bill is such a big con. It's so fiscally irresponsible that a former Obama administration economic advisor, a guy by the name of Larry Summers, penned a column in the Washington Post warning that another big stimulus package could bring the risk of setting up hyperinflation in the United States.
Yeah, and it could bring the risk compared to the risk of the entire economy capsizing.
According to the U.S. debt clock, our nation is at $28 trillion in debt and counting. Each U.S. taxpayer is on the hook to pay $224,000 and counting. Oh, yeah, I got that hanging
over the course of their lifetime. Over the course of their lifetime.
out in pocket change. The interest on that debt, the interest, is $378 billion. That's all before the socialist fake China virus
Yeah, but we borrow it mostly from the Social Security Trust Fund.
relief bill is enacted. The bigger the interest payment on the national debt, there's less money available for other priority spending programs.
No, this money is borrowed for priority spending programs.
As our debt and interest payments increase over the next decade,
By the way, Alfred, you're right. Black farmers have faced a higher rate of foreclosure during not only since 2008, but especially during the pandemic.
have no other
during the Trump years.
choice than to start cutting from other areas of government, like, defense.
Uh-oh. We're only 6 times all the other militaries in the world combined. We just passed a $2.5 trillion military bill to re-up everything for no particular reason, with the idea that we're going to build this up so we'll never go to war. Basically, we were going to become a military sales arm.
Entitlements, you name it.
Oh, entitlements. Right. Medicare, food stamps, poor kids. Remember that whole thing about abortion that he was worried about a second ago?
The World Bank says a country reaching a tipping point when the debt to GDP ratio approaches or exceeds 77%. In the third quarter of 2020, the U.S.
Yeah, but the calorie intake in your body reaches a certain peak where if you continue that calorie intake, you will, let's say you don't have enough calories. Let's use that example. You're having a calorie output in activity. You are feverishly working at some activity, and you are taking in an increasingly smaller amount of calories during that time. Let's say that activity is there's been a flood and you were swept downstream and you are swimming, you are pedaling against the tide trying not to drown, and you are increasingly using up all the calories in your body without an infusion of calories or relief from that activity in terms of a rescue. Probably both would be helpful so that you don't die after you've been pulled from the river. Then you're not using the same measuring metric as you would for, say, a walk to the store.
U.S. debt to GDP ratio was 127%.
Yeah, in an emergency. We don't normally live like that. And by the way, we had the highest deficit we've ever had under Trump for no reason.
But all the socialists stuck together to pass this massive debt onto generations yet born.
Well, no, obviously not. We're going to abort all of them. That's the trick. There will be no one there to pay the bill.
The so-called moderate Joe Manchin fell in line with his good old socialist buddies because socialist Democrats, folks, they always stick together in their efforts to harm.
That's right. We're lockstep. You've never seen infighting in the Democratic coalition ever.
America. I'm sad to report there's no unified opposition party to these socialists.
Well, that's because the Republicans suck. But what was this? Trump to the GOP, cease and desist. Okay.
He failed to stop all of this from happening. As a reminder, 17 Republicans voted with socialists in violation of our Constitution to undertake a political vendetta against former President Trump. In fact, Politico reporting that President Trump has sent a cease and desist order to the RNC, the NRCC, and the NRSC.
Yes, which I am all for.
The president wants them to stop using his likeness and brand to raise money for the 17 Republicans who betrayed the people.
No, for the RNC in general, period.
And our founding document to lodge their unconstitutional fake impeachment votes.
It was constitutional. It absolutely was. If you commit a crime, you don't get to, the bank is closed now. I'm obviously not still robbing the bank.
Can you blame President Trump for wanting nothing to do with supporting those folks?
No, I'm very much for it. I hope he starts his own little patriot party, and I hope his super PAC. Please, Republicans, maggots, Trumpsters, anyone in the sound of my voice that loves this dude and his sycophants, please send all your money to Trump's super PAC. Do not send any money to the rhinos at the RNC. I am sincere.
The question is, why are we still supporting those folks?
Yeah, really. Tell them.
Here's some more truth that you're not going to like. Heck, I don't like it.
Yeah, this is the best kind of truth, is the kind that Chris Salcedo hates.
But as we mentioned, all the socialists stuck.
Yeah, here's a terrible thing. That face and that hand gesture. First of all, is he cold? Because his hand is purple. And he just literally, this is the picture you chose. Presumably you like this man. I mean, are you going to have to, is he going to send you a cease and desist? God damn.
Together to enslave our country to debt, they always unify because socialists have a unifying principle.
Okay, what is it? We have and by the way, we're not socialists, but, we'll just use his moniker to see what he's talking about.
If it harms America, they're all for it.
Oh, okay, that's the unifying moniker. If it harms America, we're all for it. Gleam. What?
The problem with the GOP is they have no values.
Yeah, well, there you go. I'm sorry, what? What was that again?
If it harms America, they're all for it.
Yeah, that I heard.
The problem with the GOP is they have no values.
All right, good. All right, well, then why should they be running things? I mean, you can have a disagreement with someone about their premise. Obviously, the socialist idea that if it's bad for America, it's good, which I'm not quite sure why you would bail out a country. Because you want to kill people's grandkids. You're thinking that long.
I know they have a set of conservative planks in their platform, but a significant number of their party routinely just ignore those planks.
Yeah, they ignore, why are you not looking at my plank?
thinking you're all too stupid to hold them accountable.
Yeah, that's what they think. That you guys that watch my show, Chris Salcido's show, they think you're too stupid to act. Well, actually, damn.
There are no unifying principles in the Republican Party. Hell,
No.
they can't even unify to stand against socialism.
Yeah. If they could find it.
Take Paul Ryan, for example.
Yeah, that guy. Let's go back. Old school.
Upon learning that Liz Cheney, a woman with just 10% support from her constituents back home, upon learning that Liz voted against 95% of her caucus,
But is four things that are popular with 75% of Republicans.
in her inexcusable and unconstitutional vote to impeach President Trump, Ryan was inspired to throw her a fundraiser.
Oh, it's terrible.
Apparently,
Oh my God. And who wrote about this? Breitbart? Oh, thank God somebody's showing up for this thing.
the GOP covets a top-down party that votes against the will of their
What does he do, this man you seek? He kills women. No, that is incidental. He covets.
voters. This is just one reason why Americans should start donating money directly to proven conservatives while suspending
Yeah, to Trump and Newswax.
all donations
Go to newsmax.com and subscribe today.
to the Republican Party, the RNC and such. Simply put, I know what the problem
In
is.
deference to Chris's viewers.
Everything that is wrong with the United States originates in the Socialist Democrat Party.
But we couldn't do half of the terrible things we do if it wasn't for the great rhinos that enable us every time. I just feel so lucky. You know what I mean? Every night I go to bed thanking my lucky stars for Mitt Romney and Cindy McCain and Liz Cheney. And, you know, like I take back all the awful things I said about their policies over the years.
But the fractious, valueless Republican Party isn't the answer to that problem.
No, it isn't. You need the Jesus Party, the Newsmax Party. Come on, everybody.
What is?
What is? I don't know. What is? Let me guess. Trump's super PAC.
You.
Oh. I thought so. Thanks for noticing, Chris. I honestly, guys, I was. Oh, shucks. I don't know. It's just nice. You know what I mean? It's nice to be noticed. Here I am hammering away at these assholes day after day, and it's just nice to get a little recognition.
There's a website out there I want you all to get familiar with. It's
Uh-oh. Do I need a credit card?
called the Assembly of State Legislatures.
Uh-huh. Yep, let me guess. This is your well-regulated militia crowd.
This page gives you all the information you're going to need.
Yeah, I could see. Just big stripes, very few words. Easy for me to make do.
So you can begin to engage
I will begin to do.
your state representatives. So together,
Yes, we will attack. We are going to turn the Republican Party into a small, regional, fractured group of infighting assholes. My dream has come true.
you can rein in Washington, D.C.
Uh-huh. By what? Reining in the state legislature of Wyoming?
Because Washington is no longer listening to us.
Well, that's because you told him that Trump was going to win, and then after he lost, you went, he's totally going to stay in. No, he's going to keep being president. Oh, this is all bullshit. They're going to turn the elections over. Oh, you know what? We're the people of principle and stuff. I don't know what that Ghislaine Maxwell comment was about. And I don't know why people would stop listening to us, because we lost.
They are ignoring the limits on their power enshrined in our Constitution.
Terrible. It's not too late for we the people to take action.
And this is how you get involved.
Yeah, by a stupid local state legislature website that guarantees you losing national power over time.
This is how you
Please do this.
fight back against the
Thanks,
political
Carly.
parties who have colluded together to grow beyond the consent of the governed. But you all better act fast.
Yeah, because act fast. immediately rush down to your state legislature and hatch a plan to take your state legislature, thereby over the next series of election cycles, you can speedily reclaim the mantle of you better hurry up now, everybody. Just head on.
As President Trump just discovered, you can't count on Democrats, socialists, or Republicans.
Yeah, what? Well, I don't know why he would count on Democrat socialists, honestly. I mean, 5% of the party on our side, much less, and they're not fans of his. There's a certain amount of horseshoe theory, clearly. Democratic socialists and the Rand Pauls of the world overlap quite a bit in their arguments. It's just,
To do what's best for America.
Mm-hmm. That was amazing. Thanks, Chris. Jesus. Honest to God. By the way, he's still president because they think his name's going to be on the coronavirus checks. I don't need to do this video. This is just dumb. Forget it. But here we go. We'll bring it home with a little bit of MTG and Diamond and Silk and Hey, y'all.
Hey, y'all. Welcome to Diamond and Silk, the podcast with your host, Diamond and Silk, and Silk O' Silk.
Diamond O' Diamond.
Well, neither one of them are Irish. I don't know what the Silk O' Silk, Diamond O' Diamond thing is.
A lot to talk about, but before we get into it,
go to Chatbit and join their chatty chat.
I want you all to stop right now.
Yes.
And I want you to subscribe to this podcast.
I'm going to scribe to this podcast. I'm going to write a long scroll about this podcast. I'm going to Bartleby the Scrivener the shit out of this podcast.
So each time we drop a new episode,
I'll be there to pick it up.
You will receive
That's right.
notification.
That's right.
And don't forget about
and her throat's a little dry. They've been doing a lot of these.
Our book, Uprising. Who the hell said you can't ditch and switch? The Awakening of Diamond and Silk. You can get the book at diamondandsilkbookstore.com.
Yeah, and nowhere else.
And if you would like to advertise on this podcast, feel free to send us an email at info@diamondandsilk.com. That's info@diamondandsilk.com.
I wonder how much. Actually, I wonder. I've been thinking about how I can help the show grow. Maybe that's our goal. For if we get to 1,000 subscribers, I'm going to start advertising on Rudy Giuliani's show, make him do a big. I was watching a lot of podcasts during the last year, and then have them have to do an ad for me. Oh God, it would be so fun.
And if you're tired of being censored by all those other social media platforms, then join Diamond and Silk's new social media platform called Chattit. ChatDit.
Yeah, we know it. Chattit. We just don't think it was a good idea. Chat it. It sounds like chat it, but the D, we're not quite sure why the D is in there. It's Chatdit, not Chattit, and it should be CHADDIT. Chattit is way easier to remember. Oh, never mind. Why am I helping?
Wow. So we've been having a great time, you all, with all of these conversations that we're having.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene is back. And honey, she's here to spill the beans and the collard greens while sipping on a little tea.
That's right.
Come on, y'all. Join the conversation with us.
Congresswoman, welcome back to the show.
Yeah. We have so good to have you guys back together. She's not nervous at all.
A lot to talk about because we heard about a lot of shenanigans.
Yeah, first of all, the shenanigans is goddamn you guys are loud.
That's happening up there in that house, okay? So
there's a lot going on.
First, let's start.
She doesn't know any of it. She's not on any committees, and she just basically is just run-of-the-mill signing bills.
Start off with the voting right.
Nitwit? Yeah, we should start nitwit.com. Should I do the chat nitwit? That should be another one. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube page at nudesmax.com. That's nudesmax with 1x.com or infotainmentwars.com, whatever you would like.
Something happened where Nancy Pelosi did some undercover stuff, passing some things. Can you
undercover?
Please explain to us about these voting rights and how this is going to affect future elections?
Oh no. Voting rights.
Well, you're talking about H.R. 1.
Yes, they are.
Which is the bill that the Democrats just passed last night. Late last night,
in the middle of the night, darkness.
They worked on it all.
Middle of it, with the moon rising, obviously faces blood, wearing robes of sackcloth. What time was the virgin sacrifice?
All week long. And H.R. 1 is the federalization of elections.
No, just federal elections.
All over the country.
That's a standard of federal elections.
It is
because it's for federal offices that we all have to participate in equally. So,
dangerous bill. It's basically the worst bill they could pass, and
the worst bill they could pass. I don't think so. I'm thinking there could be way worse. Let me do a little homework.
Would make it very difficult for
the worst bill they could pass is any Republican bill.
Republicans to win future elections. It takes away photo ID.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't take away photo ID.
It enables them to use the mail-in ballots anywhere and everywhere. Ballot harvesting.
Let's see. Does it? Let me see. Text. Who would think that I would have the entire text of H.R. 1 in here? Let's see. Okay. Let's see. This act may be cited as the For the People Act of 2021. Clearly sounds dangerous. Division voting. Let's see. Table of contents. The election access. Short title statement of policy. You can have it read to you. That's fascinating. I just want to see it, don't I? Hello. Can I scroll down through here? It's just the table of contents. It doesn't skip to it. I don't know why. This is a big bill. There's a lot in here. Let's see. Requiring availability of internet for voter registration. Okay. So states have to be able to let people register online. Use of internet to update registration information. That would fold into that. Provision for election information by electronic mail to individuals registered to vote. So you can send emails about when election day is and all that kind of stuff. Okay. Sounds like a bunch of stuff written after computers were part of our lives. What the hell? Clarification of requirement regarding necessary information to show eligibility to vote. Oh, what's that? Is there a... Let's see. I'm going to have to skip ahead down... Let's see. Let me find out if I can go straight down to the text. There you go. Look at that. Look at the whole thing. Who has the whole thing? Me. That's who. Prepayment of postage on return envelopes for voting materials. What the hell? Revisions to 45-day absentee ballot transmission rule. This is clearly this is an attack on our elections. Let's go back up to where we were looking here. Let's see, early voting. Let's see. Let's just pick something in general, something that sounds really awful. Challenges against people. Requirements for challenges by persons other than election officials. So rando assholes can't... Yeah, this is the part that scares them off. So rando Republicans can't show up at polling places, and no person other than a state or local election official shall submit a formal challenge to an individual's eligibility to register to vote in an election for federal office, and this is the kind of crucial part, the federal office part, or to vote in an election for federal office, unless that challenge is supported by personal knowledge regarding the grounds for ineligibility, which is documented in writing. You can't just come up and go, they look Mexican. You got to write down why you think so and explain where you got your information. Subject to an oath or attestation under penalty of perjury that the challenger has a good faith factual basis to believe that the individual who is the subject of the challenge is ineligible to register to vote or vote in that election, except a challenge which is based on race, ethnicity, or national origin of the individual who is the subject of the challenge may not be considered to have a good faith factual basis. You can't call it good faith. You have to provide other stuff like, yeah, they're from another country and that kind of stuff. Prohibition on challenges on or near date of election. No person other than the state or local election official shall be permitted to challenge an individual's eligibility to vote in an election for federal office on election day, or to challenge an individual's eligibility to register to vote in an election for federal office or vote in an election for federal office less than 10 days before the election, unless the individual registered to vote less than 20 days before the election. All right. So this person, you can't 20 days before an election, if you come up and register to vote, this person has more than 10 days to look into it. They got 10 days to figure it out and 10 days to call you on it. But if you've been registered to vote at your address for a long time, they can't decide to attack your ability to vote 10 days before it. Oh, nice. Thanks. Look at that. Getting a 01 hoodie. That's a sweetie. Yeah, so far this sounds monstrous. Prohibition against voter caging. No state or local election officials shall prevent an individual from registering or voting in any election for federal office or permit in connection with any election for voter office a formal challenge under the state law to an individual's registration status or eligibility to vote if the basis for such decision is evidence consisting of a voter caging document or a voter caging list, an unverified match list, which would be the, we got a list of dead people here, that stuff. An error or omission or any record or paper relating to any application, registration, or other act requisite to voting, if such error or omission is not material to an individual's eligibility to vote under Section 2004 of the revised statutes as amended, 52 U.S.C. 101, binary. Just saying, this looks like, this is the work of the devil, clearly.
You name it, it has.
I'm okay. It allows goats to vote.
Every single bad.
You got to give goats the vote.
Practice of election.
Especially if they're not American goats.
Election.
She was an American goat.
Fraud in this bill, and they passed it last night.
Under cover of darkness.
This is what Democrats are doing. They're trying to ram everything radical they can as fast as possible, straight through the House of Representatives. They're trying to push it through the Senate so that Joe Biden will sign it in the White House. But that was last night.
What? Hold on. Democrats have the House, the Senate, and the White House, and they are prioritizing stuff they want to do? What?
But why do it feel like to me that everything that supposedly that happened irregularly in the 2020 election is now trying to be passed as legal or as legislation right now?
Right. It's like they're trying to cover up what.
Because you haven't read the bill, you have people like Marjorie Taylor Greene telling you what's in it. And you also have this fart air fantasy that Trump actually won the election and there was fraud when there wasn't.
It happened in 2020.
Yeah.
By doing this.
Well, because it worked. And we know that because
there was 95% paper trail with stuff. By the way, there's a bunch of shit in the bill about paper trail. I can do the whole thing on that.
Our favorite president is no longer in the White House. You see, everything they did in 2020 worked so well as a
no, our favorite president, arguably, that's true. That's true. Our favorite president, Barack Obama, is not in the White House. Although I will say, Biden's doing a hell of a job. I'm enjoying the dude.
Matter of fact, they bragged about it in a recent Time magazine article. They perfected the way to win elections
by getting more people able to vote and not having to worry about Republicans denying them voting machines.
And take it away from conservatives, take away fair elections from Americans.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it really is, fair elections.
Shameful.
It is. Thank you, Cassie.
They want to go further. You know, Biden's opening up the border. He has it wide open right now.
Yeah, anybody can come in. By the way, if you're watching, I'm sorry I don't speak Spanish, but if you're anywhere in the world and you speak Spanish, please come traipsing across the southern border, because apparently the wall never worked. You know, it was supposed to work. It was supposed to be great, and they finished it according to Trump, but still it didn't. I mean, it might as well be tissue paper. People are just pouring right through. All Biden had to do was ring the dinner bell. Wall just came down or whatever. Apparently, a bunch of these Mexicans were sporting trumpets, and they just marched back and forth in front of it for 21 days. And on January 20th, that was the last day, and then it fell over.
Thousands of people are coming across. Just only a few months ago, President Trump had created such a secure border. His administration had done such a good job, but they want more illegal.
You mean the COVID virus stopping people from traveling?
In our country, because they want more illegal votes. And so, yes, that was.
Why would they have a path to citizenship in their immigration bill if they want illegal votes?
That was a great question. Why are they?
It is good.
They doing this? Why are they changing our elections?
Why?
It's because they perfected a plan that works, and they want it to be permanent. But I will tell you, there is some hope with that, so that
Oh, good. All right. Phew.
people don't think all is lost.
Yeah.
There are
Yeah. All isn't lost. Trump is still president, and if you didn't see, there's smoke coming out of the White House lawn. They are cooking pedivores over a spit.
states are so important. State rights are huge, and this is why, you know, like my state, Georgia, they are
But you have a federal standard for federal elections.
passing through very strong election reform, and I'm so excited about.
Well, that's why there'll be a national bill, and then they'll be challenged in court, and then they'll have to live up to the federal bill because they're part of the United States.
It.
Thanks,
so
Adam.
states like Georgia, states like Florida, oh my goodness, Governor Ron DeSantis has done an incredible job, and they have strong elections there. So even though
do they now?
HR 1 sounds terrifying, this is where states.
It's terrifying. I lie awake at night, fearing what could possibly be in here. Designation of a single state office to provide information on registration and absentee ballot procedures for all disabled voters in the state. The horror! The horror! An entire segment on disabled people. Look at this. This is terrible. This is how you know it was the worst one ever. This is the worst bill ever. They had to include it. Technically, I'm not mulleting I just put in my headphones later. It's full on. It's long. Yeah, it's just back because I had it in a ponytail. How you like that? How you like me now? How you doing? Uh-huh. Ow! Oh, what's going on? It's feeling good. That's right. Second dose. Very excited. Hello. Look at you. What's going on? Band-Aid flashing. That's going to be a new one. I got my shot. I feel fine. Summer got hers as well. She's laying down. Everybody's saying that, like, in some cases if it hits you at night on your second dose. So I'll keep you guys posted on how it's going. I have friends around here who have also gotten it. They're all reacting, differently. And so far I'm fine though. No headache, no nothing. Just
States are so important, and then also.
Yeah, I did. I'm definitely hydrating. Yes.
It has to get through the Senate, and it looks like it'll be very difficult for Democrats to get this HR 1 election.
Miss Margie Green, I have a question. Do you think it would be better and be easier to get this bill, for the Republicans to fight it, if we took out this awful section here? If we got rid of that? And I also, this thing scares me. No effect on state voting age requirements. Nothing in paragraph 1 may be construed to require a state to permit an individual who is under 18 years of age at the time of election for federal voters to vote in that election. Oh. But how are they going to get children? I thought they won by getting children to vote and dead people. And in this case, this says no acceptance for applications from individuals under 18, but they won't be able to vote until they turn 18. They can just apply when they get their driver's license. Oh. Providing voter registration information to secondary school students. Oh, to high school students, so that when they turn 18, they can pilot program for providing voter registration information to secondary school students prior to graduation. So don't forget, because you're going to graduate. Some of you might be 18. Some of you might be turning 18 this summer. You might be able to vote this fall. You might have not decided whether you're going to college or anything like that. So we'd like to inform you, you can go register to vote. How horrible. It's terrible.
Election bill through the Senate. So don't lose hope yet, but it's everything they're trying to do in Congress. It's how you should look at Democrats to see their radical plans.
Yeah, radical.
Watch what Nancy.
Radical, Chuck. Radical.
Nancy Pelosi is doing in Congress.
Can I please just
Yes, you can. Go ahead.
One thing you just said about, you said that it'll be hard to get it in the Senate. So if the Democrats have control of the Senate, how would it be hard for them to ram this through the Senate if they have control?
Well, they have to get over 60 votes.
No, unless they change the filibuster to a functioning filibuster, or because a lot of this bill has stuff in it that is paid for by governmental funds, technically falls under reconciliation. So you pass the regular budget using regular rules and make the Republicans on the hook if they don't show up and give 60 votes to pass the normal budget, and then you pass this bill using reconciliation, using 50 plus 1, and that's because I mean, federal elections are funded by the government.
And
Got it.
Thank you for clarifying, because that's important for people to understand. Right now, it's 50-50. So it's 50 Republican, 50 Democrat.
And 48 Democrats, 2 independents, but they caucus with the Democrats.
With Vice President Kamala Harris is the deciding vote. And unless they have more than 60 votes, they cannot get H.R. 1 passed.
Yeah, they can. They can use reconciliation because there's a lot of, like you said, the pilot program, for example, that's going to be paid for by federal tax dollars. The establishment of best practices and anything that in here that would deals with we budget a lot for elections, so making sure that they work is part of the budgetary process. So if you pay for something in general, you can go, yeah, we have all these rules on how it works, and that qualifies under there. So just saying.
Oh, okay. Another thing with
thank God, I was so scared.
to come to HR 1, don't that goes against our Constitution?
No.
Because the Constitution already have our election rules set out that the states decide certain things.
That's right.
So with them trying to federalize our election, they're going against the Constitution in the first place. Am I right?
No, you're not right. The federal government can set standards increasingly. Otherwise, if we were just going by the Constitution, none of you would matter. None of you could vote. The laws passed that deal with the equal application of people being able to vote based on sex and race were all passed after the Constitution itself, 100 years after, practically. So, or more in some people's cases. So
you're absolutely right, but everything they're doing goes against our Constitution.
Sure.
I mean, look at the
it's true.
Equality Act. They wiped out gender. They said that anybody can choose what sex, what gender they are, and then all of a sudden that person's rights are above everyone. They're above my rights. They're above your rights.
How?
Yeah.
They're above
if they become a woman, they have women's rights. If they become a man, they deal with men's rights, I guess. I mean, it would be difficult. Let's say, for example, if they were a man and they committed a murder, and then they heard that women, for most men will get 10 years for a murder, minimum. Women get 6 years for a murder with the same circumstances minimum. So you're saying that they could just change their gender during sentencing and say, Your Honor, I'm a woman. I would like a woman's sentencing. And they would get away with that and be sent to a female prison just because they say so. Doesn't quite work that way.
Religious freedom. They're above business owners, doctors' rights. But this is what Democrats want to do. They don't.
Well, doctors don't have to take patients that they can't service. And your religious beliefs are your own, but they end at the tip of your nose, like everybody else's.
Care about our Constitution. They don't care about it at all. They only care about their agenda. They're woke.
So I gotta say, for the record, the Constitution deals with these lovely ladies as being 3/5 of a person, but somehow working out the derivations between male and female is something that is beyond the capability of the Constitution. See what I'm getting at?
Progressive agenda and the path. I used to say socialism, but I think their end goal is actually communism.
Well, yeah, sure. I mean, socialism in and of itself is just it's a bridge to communism. That's what Stalin said, and they just never could pull it off because there's this weird thing about people.
Yeah,
absolutely.
But think
Hardcore
about it like
communism.
this. How is it that a 5-year-old don't have a choice to go back to school, but you want to give them the choice to change their gender?
Well, they wouldn't have a choice to change their gender. It would be the assertion of the gender they feel. They're not going to just change it. They believe it is their gender. They're not flipping coins here. And quite frankly, in one case, the child is alive and the parents are alive, and in the other case, they go to school and they die, or the parents die, or the grandparents die, or whoever's watching them, and because we didn't have standards set up under the Trump administration to guarantee the safety of everyone involved.
Mutilate themselves.
Exactly. That's how sick and disgusting. It's evil to the core. But the Democrats, that's exactly who they are.
Yeah, we're just evil to the core. Yeah.
They don't care about someone's 5-year-old little boy or little girl. They don't care about their
We don't.
ability to.
Why do we keep trying to give them health insurance and feed them and make sure they have prenatal care for their moms so that they come out okay, and make sure that they have Head Start, make sure they have school lunches, make sure that schools are funded equally? Why don't we care about? I thought it would be so much easier if we didn't give a shit about kids, because we wouldn't have to present all these bills to try and help them that you guys shoot down.
Go to school every day to be able to learn to read and write and learn their math. They don't care about these kids going to school and playing with their friends.
Yeah, they do. They just don't want their parents to die, because then the kid becomes a ward of the state, which I think the child being brought up with by the government would be something you might be concerned about.
Developing their social skills and their good psychological, healthy mental well-being.
Yeah, which is exactly why anybody who homeschools is terrible and denies their children a real education. According to your hero, Donald John Trump, it is effectively child abuse to not send kids to public or a large private school. To teach kids in your home and not have them go through the normal socialization that happens in school is an attack on them. And Christians who homeschool their kids... Oh, that's not who you're attacking? I'm sorry.
What they do care about... They care about making sure these kids are confused about their gender. They
I think it's helping kids who are confused about their gender find some anchor in this, as opposed to making other kids confused about their gender. That's just because, I don't know. You'd have to ask the dude at the gym.
They also care about illegal children, and they care about their education. And that's why the Joe Biden administration has actual schools down at the border completely set up, and these schools are open.
Wait a minute. We are schooling children during the time they are incarcerated? Wait a minute. Look, you show up dumb, you stay that way, kids. How else will you know that Republicans love children and Democrats hate them? Democrats hate kids so much that while they and their parents are working their way through the system, they are having an organized school day being fed and taught. What?
Wide open, and they have
what?
Teachers in place, and they're ready to educate.
They're educating illegal kids,
illegal children,
while their parents are seeking asylum,
while they're forcing American children to stay home.
Well, those kids are already in a confined space. They're socially distanced in those smaller things. And a lot of schools, by the way, all over the country are open, especially at that age range, little kids.
You know what? Okay, so
okay, God damn it.
I have to keep myself calm because I don't want to catch a case.
That's right.
Catch a cake? What? Catch a what?
You mean to tell me?
Yes, she does.
We got children sitting around here about half crazy. Don't
I see 3.
Don't know how to spell. Don't know how to add or subtract.
Yeah.
Just confused, locked in a house. But you got illegal.
But enough about Christian homeschoolers and the Amish.
Aliens crossing our borders, and y'all gonna give them some education?
What? Children, look, if these kids deserve to know how to read, they wouldn't have been born to illegal immigrants. I mean, honestly. Wait till these assholes find out we give prisoners health care.
And got schools set up with teachers? And you got these teachers that don't want to take their behinds back to school?
Yeah,
this is crazy.
And you're going to pay for it. That's the other part. So,
well, yeah, it doesn't happen. We don't allow volunteers in there. Why would you? People like you would show up, and while you're supposed to teach them how to read, you'd be proselytizing this phony consumer Christianity.
Not only do we have our kids at home Our teenagers who the depression rate, the suicide rate has gone up. These kids have lost their part-time jobs. They've lost their sports.
Yeah, because we're all living through a pandemic. They're also not in a facility they can't leave.
They've lost all of their activities. They've lost prom. They've lost graduation. These kids.
Yeah, as did kids during the Spanish flu, as did kids during World War II. I mean, can you imagine these assholes in England as the Luftwaffe strafe-bombed London, going, why aren't the beaches open?
You know, in elementary school and middle school, they've lost everything but
everything except their lives, which they can. Yeah.
Joe Biden administration wants our border wide open and is so proud to just let these illegals, anyone and everyone, let them in. But also, you know what? They love children in cages. They love it so much that they've created schools down at the border, and the American taxpayers are paying for it.
Wow.
So the schools are
next they're going to be having them like dog fights.
Open for illegals, but not for American children.
Schools aren't open for illegals. These kids are incarcerated with their parents because they came across the border illegally. They are being held in facilities. While they're being held in facilities, we are providing them with basic medical care, food, shelter indoors, and education for the children because they were dragged there by their parents. It is not their responsibility. It is no child's fault that they were born to an asshole, even you.
You know, Congresswoman, this is why I keep telling people, it's time to drop the party affiliation and get on the same side.
That's right. Just drop the party. That's right. This is really about them sharing belief systems across the board. This is Democrats and Republicans can totally unite with MTG and Diamond and Silk.
Because this is our taxpayer dollars that's got to pay for this.
Right. And you don't want that. You want these children who are trapped in these facilities until such time as their case is adjudicated to not have, which can be months in some cases. I think 90 days is the limit. Some of them have been over 100 days. And you don't want during that time for those children to be taught anything. This is a line you need drawn. That Marjorie Taylor Greene and Diamond and Silk, if there is a child who has no control over their circumstances, that is brought across the border by their parents illegally, and while we have them in the system, as we work through whether or not they have a legit asylum claim for them and that child, that the line they want drawn is these children should be treated like the prisoners that they are.
And I guarantee you, if we tried to do this here, we tried to cross the border in Mexico, they're not going to be setting up no schools for us and paying for all of this stuff.
No. So lowest common denominator is what you're setting. Canada would. Canada has a similar situation. But, I mean,
they're going to tell you to turn around and go back to your own country.
To your own country and get in line and do it the right way. So I'm so disappointed about that.
That's so sad.
What do we need to do?
Yeah, but Mexico passes people along to us. They also have, I mean, right over the border, they have 3 cartel towns that are run by drug cartels where the Trump administration went, we're not going to teach these kids. Dump them. I don't know who their parents are.
I know you keep telling us to talk to...
Carl's 65 today? What? Carl Alessi, happy birthday. Happy birthday, Carl. I did not know that. Happy birthday to you. I'm not singing happy birthday with these assholes on the screen. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Carl. Does fantastic stuff talking about space, and it's a great conversation whenever I get to hang out with him. I really enjoy it because it's a great time, and we both love space and NASA stuff. Happy birthday to you. Give him a hug, Joyce. Come on, give him a hug. Get a little smooch. Don't cross any lines. It's the only stuff I would do if I was there. Yay! All right, back to the show.
What? How do we recall those people up there in Congress that's making these decisions?
Yeah. How do we stop people from teaching kids to read while they are in forced incarceration? I mean, how are they going to learn not to break the law if we don't treat them like shit.
Well, I tell you what, you ladies are so smart. You're so on point, and
I don't think this has anything to do with intellect. I think this is soulless garbage. I think you're all three being inhuman monsters, and I don't know why you think that the crimes of the parents should be taken out on the children, and that these children should effectively, for months, while they're going through the system to see if they legit have an asylum claim, or if they're just economic migrants, or they get deported, or whatever happens, that during the time they are in our care, that that somehow you're offended that we treat them like humans.
everything you're saying is exactly right.
No, it isn't. It's fucked up.
Maybe I should just beg both of you to run for Congress, because I need people like you. I need y'all up here fighting.
Yeah, please run on a don't educate children, especially illegals. Run on that.
With me. I need more. And I love both of you. And you clearly love our country. And you love our American people so much.
And you hate children so
much that you don't even care about political
Good God.
parties. And I totally agree with you. You are right.
Abandon the Republican Party, please. Yes. Go for it. Yeah, that's where you guys have got it together.
We need to stop caring about Democrat and Republican and all these identities that go with it. And we need to just care about America first and Americans first. So thank you for loving our country the way you do.
Thank you. How do you propose for American citizens to want or be able to vote in any election in the future if their votes were canceled in 2020?
Their votes weren't canceled in 2020.
Well, that's a very important question. And so you have to start with your state. Because
start with your state. First of all, register to vote, maybe.
These elections, the very states that we were upset about, we were objecting to 6 states, or what we did. Well,
we
couldn't finish it and do it the way we had planned to, but
if it only
on January 6th, we were objecting to 6 states. And so those election issues have to be handled in the state. And I just encourage people to keep pushing about it. But another thing is with HR 1, we passed it, or Democrats passed it in the House, and then no matter what Republicans said, it didn't matter. But what people can do is they can make sure it gets stopped in the Senate. And so here's marching orders. I love to give marching orders because I want people to know.
Yes, march down to the border and make sure that there is as many illiterate children as possible.
Oh, that they're able.
Because that proves that America is great.
To do something. Posting on social media is not enough. As a matter of fact.
No, it isn't. Especially when you've been kicked off for Jewish space laser bullshit.
Nobody cares. But your actions do matter. And so HR 1 is going to go through the Senate. The Equality Act is going to go through the Senate. And this awful defund the police, Democrats hate the police bill that they passed last night is also going to go through the
Oh no, defund the police. Yikes.
Senate. And now with our Senate, with 50 Republican and 50 Democrat, they have to pull Republicans in to be able to pass these things. So the marching orders are this: put the pressure on the Senate. Put your pressure there. Yeah. Call every single Republican senator. Email them. Visit their offices. Non-stop pressure.
Yeah, walk behind them on the road and ask them really uncomfortable questions about awful things that happen to them in their lives.
On these.
I'm sorry, that's just David Hogg.
Horrifying bills. HR 1, the Equality Act, the defund the police bill. Put the pressure there, not only on the Republican senators.
Let's see, defund the police bill. They must have just passed this, so hold on. Defund the police bill. House bill, something like that. The House passes. Oh, the George Floyd Act is what they're talking about. House Democrats want to make sure to overhaul policing nationwide, avoiding a pension. Let's see. Moderates in their own party were wary of reigniting the defund the police debate. Approved 2020 to 2012. Let's see. Let's see. Why don't we just do this? Copy that. Put it in here. The text. There you go. Let's see. Here it is. Let's see. Let's see the horror that is in this. The HR 7120. Boy, it sure did go from HR 1 to 7120 really quick. To hold law enforcement accountable for misconduct in court, improve transparency through data collection, and reform police training and policies. Let's see, to hold law enforcement accountable, definitions, police accountability, deprivation of rights under color of law, qualified immunity reform, pattern and practice investigation, independent investigations. Okay, short title. Definitions, Law Enforcement Trust and Integrity Act, conduct early authorization of appropriations. That would probably be anything dealing with money right there. Authorization of 25 million for additional expenses relating to enforcement of Section 210401 of the Violent Crime Control and Law Enforcement Act of 1994. Criminal enforcement under Sections 241, 242, administrative. $3 million for additional expenses related to conflict resolution by the Department of Justice Community Relations Service. I thought they were defunding the police. You just added $28.3 million to ad services. National Task Force for Law Enforcement Oversight. Okay, so this is again going to cost money, I'm guessing. Special Litigation Section of the Civil Rights Division. Okay, still got the Civil Rights Division, just another adding a layer of employees. Office of Justice Programs. That's good. Okay, there it is. The Office of Community Oriented Policing Service. Here it is. That's it. That's the one. That's what's freaking them out. If you'll recall, the COPS program is what the Obama administration and Joe Biden worked on while they were in office and passed and put into existence. And Trump scuttled that at the same time he scuttled the pandemic response team. And almost exactly to the day from when he did both those things, we got COVID and the George Floyd killing. And had this been in place, there would have been methods that may have broomed Chauvin from the police force and replaced him with more qualified individuals who aren't racist, and therefore George Floyd would still be alive. But Trump scuttled the COPS program, Community-Oriented Policing Services program, and there you go. That's the big problem. There it is. That's why they're mad. Community Relations Service, Office of Tribal Justice. So far, are they taking money from somewhere else to pay for this? Let's see. Federal data collection on law enforcement practices. Breakdown of information based on race, ethnicity, and gender. Okay, so you see how many people are pulled over based on race, gender, and ethnicity. Pedestrian stop, frisk and body searches. Instances where law enforcement used deadly force, including a description of when and where deadly force was used and whether it was resulted in death, a description of deadly force directed against an officer and whether it was resulted in injury and death, and the law enforcement agency's justification to use of deadly force if the agency determines it was justified. Wait a minute, what? Hold on. A description of deadly force directed against an officer and whether it resulted in death or... Wait, not only do they want a list of when cops kill civilians, they want a list of when civilians kill cops too? What? This is horrifying.
Find those moderate senators,
Yeah, find those guys.
Manchin, Sinema, any moderate senator you can find.
They're going to vote.
Any senator
they're going to vote for this, by the way.
That is in a very close district that has an election coming up, a Democrat that has an election coming up in 2022. Put so much pressure on them and let them know we are going to beat you in 2022. We will knock you out. Don't you dare vote for HR 1. Don't you?
Yeah, no Democrats are going to be scared of voting for HR 1.
You dare vote for,
especially if you're saying it allows them to cheat and stay in office. Wait a minute. I should vote against the very thing that you say will automatically guarantee me a seat in office. I don't get how you threaten someone.
For the Equality Act. Don't you dare vote to defund our police officers.
Nobody's voting for. I think it looks like they're actually adding money in the George Floyd. I'll have to read the whole thing. Everywhere I just magically flopped on, though, it meant more federal funding.
These are the things people can do, and it will matter. It will matter so much Because let me tell you, most politicians are terrified of public pressure, and they want more than anything to get reelected so they can stay up here.
Well, they're representatives. They don't represent like the QAnon contingent of their small little district. They look at the majority opinion in their district or in their state and try to stay in line with that. Unless, of course, they're Republicans right now, wherein most of these bills, like the COVID relief bill, for example, 71% of Americans, including 56% of Republicans, are for it, like all or most of it, and want it passed. And yet no Republicans, zero, voted for it in the Senate. So apparently they don't give a shit.
In the swamp and keep doing their swamp thing. And
the swamp thing? If the Democrats are doing something that 71% of the public are for in a constitutional democracy, and Republicans are doing the opposite, thank you, Diana. Thanks for being you.
So that's why the people's voice matters. So get on that Senate and let them know how you feel.
So we need a write.
Yes, please write. Send them a copy of your book.
Need a call.
Yes, call late at night, though, because apparently that's when they pass all this shit.
Yep.
We need to not
signal flares, Aldous lamp.
not get on social media
No, don't do social media. Stay off of social media.
necessarily, because they'll shut you down and call
Right.
it fake news or fact check you and all of this other stuff.
Yeah, fact checking. That's the worst.
But we need to get off of our hind parts, you all.
Yeah, get up off your asses, right?
Okay? And we got to go to work to
Yes.
save our country.
That's what
Yeah,
we got to do.
That's what we got to do. Because our country is
that was an edit.
under
That's weird.
siege right now.
It is.
The country is under siege,
Uh-huh.
It is.
which is I have to say, in many ways, it is my favorite Steven Seagal movie. I gotta say, Under Siege is. I mean, obviously, Tommy Lee Jones is fantastic in it. It was really his comeback movie. Andrew Davis put him in The Fugitive after that because of working with him on that picture. He's fantastic in The Fugitive. And yeah, so a lot of ways. I mean, I like On Deadly Ground because of its environmental message. And then, of course, Above the Law, I think is, I mean, it's got to be in there, because it was the first one. And it really just talks about, the general premise that no one should be above the law is worth handling. So I think it would go that. I think it would go Under Siege, On Deadly Ground. Yeah, Above the Law. I think those are my three. I'm pretty sure I've settled on those.
So we got to write, we got to call,
You got to not post.
got to do
And
what we
put
gotta
pressure
do.
on these
Put pressure
senators.
on
Yeah,
them.
put pressure on them to stop the bleeding. Like mainly right on the wound, and then you're gonna. I mean, I wouldn't recommend a tourniquet around the rib cage at all.
So that they will not pass.
Marked for Death, I enjoyed kind of, but not, in kind of the zone of like, in a hard target kind of a way in your Van Damme movies. You know what I'm saying? Like they're fun, they're popcorn movies. The other three are legit.
Passes here because all of this here. Listen, let me tell you something when it comes to voting rights. If you can have an ID to go buy beer, to go buy cigarettes, to get on welfare, to fly, to go to the doctor, you can have a ID to.
Yeah, but you don't have a right to any of those things. You do not have a right in the Constitution to buy beer from someone, especially at 18. You don't have a right to fly. The airlines do not have a responsibility to give you a plane ticket. See how all this... I mean, they throw this stuff up all the goddamn time. Yeah. I do indeed love Bruce Lee. It's
vote, okay?
right.
All right?
That's
And
right.
this mail-in ballot stuff, this stuff is shady. We need to really look at this here really, really closely.
Yeah.
If we
Yeah, look, yeah. Check the signatures.
want
Volunteer.
Fair.
Look at that. I love when the tip cup, we've got some Zoltan hands in there, and the little stars, like the emotes I made that move, that's what falls into the cup when you guys cheer and stuff on Twitch. It's pretty great.
and free elections in this country.
That's right.
And this Equality Act, whenever you take and you get
By the way, for all of you saying it's Van Darn and making, please get an interview with them. Oh, I'd love to, Anita. If you haven't seen JCVD, the Jean-Claude Van Damme movie, literally JCVD, it's where he plays himself. His acting is astounding. and it's in French, and therefore he's much more comfortable speaking French. Obviously, it's like watching a Jackie Chan movie where he's speaking Chinese. There's a fluidity to it that when he's that just isn't there when it's your second language. Especially when you're acting in another language, it's always a tough thing. But JCVD, that movie he's Belgian, but he speaks French, and so there's a monologue in it which is just beautiful. It's solid acting. It really is. He's terrific in it. So just saying.
Giving people extra rights, you're giving them extra privilege. We all should be equal.
Yeah, agreed. That's what HR 1 is seeking to do, is to make sure everybody equally has the ability to do something that is their right.
So why do a group of people, 1%, need extra rights?
They don't. Why are that 1% being denied something, and it's really more like 35%, why should they be denied something that everyone else in the country gets, because we have equal protection under the law in the Constitution, and if one state's standards for voting are egregious and deny legit voters the ability to vote, then the federal government has a right to step in and make sure that, hence the Voting Rights Act that the Republicans kicked to the curb, hence the new John Lewis Voting Rights Act.
Not go into a restaurant. Yeah. I don't ask nobody about their sexual orientation. Right. What I want to know, can you make this burger, make it medium well?
Uh-huh. Medium well, really?
And make sure you put some lettuce, tomato, and a little ketchup on it.
And don't forget the pickles.
Yeah, you see what I'm
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
talking about?
No, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
And defunding the police, do you know who that's going to affect? The minority community.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they're not. They're adding money to make sure that minorities are more protected.
The minorities is when you talk about defunding the police.
Shame on the Democrats for talking about defunding the police, but now you want more security out there at the Capitol.
That's right.
DC.
And what is that about?
Yeah.
What is that about?
That all of that military up there, Congresswoman, we are becoming
Yeah, ask her.
concerned out here in these streets.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're worried. Why are you thinking the gates are going to attack you?
I really do want to tell you, I wish more than anything that you were here and I could take you for a walk and show you everything, and maybe you'll come visit me sometime, and I would love to show you around and show you firsthand exactly what's going on.
Yeah, you could give them the same tour you and Lauren were given to people before the insurrection.
And you could do it.
Here's where they would hide, so you want to plant. If you have a pipe bomb, you might want to shove it in this garbage can because that's the closest one. If you have a handgun, you could stash it in this vent, come back and get it later.
A whole documentary on this, and I invite you personally to come and do that with me. But I will fill you in. So the defund the police bill, you're absolutely right. It endangers minority communities because this bill, what it does is it takes away police officers' qualified immunity. And so that means if a police officer makes an arrest and the criminal they arrested is offended or upset over anything the police officer did, they can sue them. They can take them to court and sue the police officer.
Yeah, but it just doesn't mean that they're automatically on the receiving end of it. They have to go through the process. And by the way, they've effectively had that ability for a long time, since the 80s.
Officer.
I mean, literally, this is a plot point in Running Scared with Gregory Hines and Billy Crystal, one of my favorite movies. And there's literally a point where they're trying to hand a subpoena to Gregory Hines. He's a cop in the movie, and so is Billy Crystal. And he walks over to Billy Crystal and he goes, Detective Hughes, he goes, a subpoena for me? No, thank you. And then he ends up giving it to Gregory Hines, and he goes, what about the rights of the woman he killed? But he's going through the courts. That's not, it hasn't always been that way.
And they don't make very much money to begin with. Another thing that
right, and the police union has, and the Fraternal of the Police has a fund to protect cops that go through this.
It does is
and if they are in the right, oftentimes they have the backup of basically every other cop and the financial backing in a way that people that they're interacting with don't.
Is it puts police officers, I call it on Biden's hit list. Any police
Biden's hit list.
Officer that gets a complaint filed against them, whether it's justified or even unjustified, just any complaint, it puts the police officers on a list that's...
Well, what makes it justified or not justified? It will have the ruling next to it. You can go, this person gets attacked because they go in where other people, that would also, you go, it also got 2 accommodations, and the drug dealer they stopped tried to file a false motion against them to try and get evidence thrown out using an egregious charge. It's right here in the file. And?
It's managed by Biden's Attorney General, and it's a public website. And so what this is going to do is it's basically going to I say it's going to castrate police. It's going to make them so weak and ineffective, they're either going to retire, they're not...
Yeah, if they can't just shoot people...
...going to want to enforce the law, and we need police officers to enforce the law.
Police act on our behalf. So if they kill someone in the line of duty, it's public record. If they are charged or they are accused of acting wrongfully in that situation, that's also part of a public record. All it does is put it in one place. And you can go, oh yeah, this guy was actually involved in a shooting and that person turned out to be an asshole. Here's the criminal that filed the charge against him. Here's that guy's rap sheet.
And we have them up here right now at our Capitol. Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats, they keep just, they're constantly complaining about, oh my gosh, the so-called insurrection, and
the so-called insurrection
really was. It was just a riot at the Capitol.
That's all it was. It was just a riot. It's been a riot. They say it's murder.
Where people broke in the Capitol and they should have never done it.
They should have never done it.
And no one single person has agreed with it. Everyone said they're against it.
Well, the people involved in it, and a bunch of them think they shouldn't be in jail, and you keep not calling it an insurrection.
But
what you're trying to do is, you're trying to tamp it down to a random act as opposed to a coordinated effort. That's your version of, and the reason everybody's against it is because it failed.
If you were to come up here right now, they have the Capitol completely surrounded with...
Yeah, you wouldn't even be able to build a gallows right now. It's so depressing.
Big fence with razor wire all over.
They took the razor wire down.
Over the top. And then today, because there was supposed to be something happening on March 4th, some kind of conspiracy theory about March 4th, they have it surrounded with extra police and extra National Guard. And let me tell you something.
Supposedly, there were direct threats.
There is nothing happening. Nothing. And do you want to know how much?
Well, yeah, one of the reasons there was nothing happening is because there's fences, razor wire, and National Guardsmen. That tends to stifle those kind of activities.
How much it costs on an everyday...
Do you have any idea how few crimes there are in restaurants where there are active duty police officers eating with their guns?
Every single day. This costs over $4 million a day. $4 million a day.
How much does it cost to repair everything at the Capitol? How much did it almost cost us in terms of our national standing and our international standing to not have a functioning democracy? What would it cost if you or Lauren Boebert got one of your colleagues murdered? What's the price tag? Obviously, we know that paying, whatever, $500,000 for a few teachers to work in 9-month increments on teaching kids while they're in holding cells at the border is too much money. So clearly, you're pro-life up to a certain price tag.
How much it costs to keep that fence and the National Guard up here in a completely empty, shut down Washington, D.C., and there's no threat whatsoever.
Well, there's no threat because they're there.
We are being...
That's one of the dumber arguments I've ever heard.
Ripped off. How do we defund Congress?
This is...
Okay.
Yes. Marjorie Taylor Greene's got a great idea. She's going to work for free.
There you
Let's
go.
do something that's the American
That's
people.
the one.
Yes, defund Congress, please.
Yeah.
Yes.
How do we
That's-
defund Congress? I saw
How
where
we
they was
gonna-
having a hearing
why
about
we-
January the 6th. I have yet to see a hearing about last summer whenever Black Lives Matter and Antifa was running rapid through this country, burning down these different cities, these different businesses, reaping havoc on we, the American people. Where is the hearing on that?
That's right.
No, you're right. And I got to tell you, gosh, you guys.
They did have hearings on it. They also those happened in individual states, and where they crossed state lines, the FBI got involved. Yeah, what was Trump? Why did Trump drop the ball?
I wish I could take you with last night. So we're in the chamber in the House floor last night, and I'll tell you exactly what was going on. We were having the
Dish, girl, dish.
debate back and forth, and it was about the defund the police bill. And
they were like, it's not called the defund the police bill. You're making that up. It's kind of like that asshole over at Newsmax saying the China virus relief package.
I had 1 minute to speak. We get very little time to speak, so I had 1 minute to speak.
Yeah, 59 seconds too long, but yeah.
And I want you to know who was sitting in the speaker's chair. Not Nancy Pelosi.
Dun, dun, dun.
All right. I know she's our Speaker of the House, and everyone thinks that she's in that chair all the time.
No one thinks that. No one thinks that.
But I'll tell you right now, that 80-year-old woman is hardly ever in that speaker's chair. Wow. It's usually another Democrat. So she hardly ever does her job.
Yeah, they do that they rotate people presiding over the Senate as well.
But you know who was in the speaker's chair? It was Congresswoman Ilhan Omar.
Oh my God. It's terrible.
From Minnesota.
Oh my God.
And you know who she is. So I got to address her, and I had to call her Madam Speaker. So whoever is in the chair, whether it's a man or woman, it's either Mr. Speaker or Madam Speaker.
Okay, so it's normal that they rotate people, both when Republicans are in charge and Democrats are in charge. So people regularly do that. Gotcha.
So I said, Madam Speaker, Democrats supported riots that burned American cities.
No, they didn't.
Democrats shared the Minnesota Freedom Fund bail link on their website. And I'm talking to her because she was the one that did it. Bailing criminals out of...
Well, bailing protesters out who were scooped up in the riots and the like, because there's layers of behavior, but the cops don't know that. They just show up and grab everybody.
Jail. And now Democrats want to defund the police.
No, they don't. They're adding money.
After they supported these riots that burned
they actually couldn't. Police are funded locally.
Cities. Many of these were minority cities in these areas. Minority businesses. They're American businesses. And they attacked regular people, innocent people, and police officers. And I'm looking straight at her. And it just was
and she was like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Unbelievable to me to be talking to a woman that literally was helping criminals get bailed out of jail.
Well, no, protesters.
While they're trying to pass a defund the police bill.
Yeah.
So you can't even make this up.
Yeah, you just did.
Where is the hearing on that?
No hearing.
Need to be there in the hearing because she supported that.
She supported it.
If they did that, this is what the hearing needs to be about.
Oh, good Lord.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
And it's disgusting.
It is. It's disgusting.
Whenever
It is disgusting every time Marjorie Taylor Greene speaks on the floor.
you got people out here suffering in America because
Because of you guys.
they're not suffering because of the virus.
No, they're not. It's what virus?
They're suffering because of
Plandemic. You know what I'm saying?
these governors shutting down their states.
Oh,
But
governors are the worst, especially the federal governors.
you are allowing illegal aliens who's tested positive for the China virus to cross our borders. And
I'm sorry, are we now testing people in Mexico before they illegally cross the border? Are they showing their car? All right. It's gibberish, but...
run amok and run rapid here in America, while average Americans who didn't even test positive for no COVID, you got them locked down.
Shut down.
Well, yeah, so they don't test positive. You got people out there without AIDS wearing a condom. You got couples out there that aren't monogamous that don't have HIV using condoms to have sex. What's up with that?
Doesn't make any
That don't make no sense.
That's right. And every American has to wear a mask everywhere they go, and we're shut down.
We don't have to wear it everywhere we go. You don't have to wear it in your own home. You don't have to wear it outside. You can go jogging without it. You can carry it with you. As long as you're far away from people, you don't have to wear the goddamn thing.
And our businesses have.
You don't have to, when you're sitting at an outdoor restaurant, you don't have to wear it. You wear it up to the place because you're interacting closely with people. But once you're at an isolated table, you're amongst people that you normally eat at home with. The waiter's wearing a mask, so you order your food and you eat. Where is the
suffered and small businesses have closed. And think about, this is the heartbreaking one. How
the heartbreaking one? We were supposed to go from 14 cases to nothing.
many people have died alone this year because their families were not allowed to come in the hospital with them?
Not allowed? What the fuck are you talking about? Not allowed. It was for their own safety, so they wouldn't join their dying relative, you dumbass.
Yes.
And they may have died from cancer or any other ailment.
Yeah, this bullshit disease. They could have said goodbye to them, but they
may not have even had COVID at all.
They had COVID. They were on a ventilator. A lot of them said goodbye before they were put on the fucking ventilator because their lungs were full of glass, you nutcase.
But they died by themselves because of these horrible rules.
Because of the contagious nature of the disease. Are you oh my God.
Where their family members couldn't come in and hold their hand
Right.
in their last dying breaths. And this is all over a Chinese virus?
Yeah.
No, it's not all over a Chinese virus. It's about a contagious disease that can kill a relative and take you with it. Yeah, you know what? Thank you for bringing this up, Marjorie Taylor Greene. Guns save lives. Let's just face it. When a cop has to deal with a murder or something like that, or somebody invades you in your home, guns are safe. They save lives. And because of these stupid rules, we can't pass out loaded, chambered firearms in preschools. These stupid rules.
We've lost so much. We've lost so much in 2020.
Yeah, everybody did, dumbass. It's life.
To us, Congresswoman, it seemed like they're really trying to bankrupt this country and bankrupt the American people.
Citizens, yeah.
The whole system just...
No, if you wanted to bankrupt it, you would do what Steve Manchin did, which was sit on $400 billion and slow walk it and guarantee that all these small businesses went out of business because he let the big businesses that were buddies of his get first dibs on the cash.
Crash is what they're trying to do. You talk about the people that's in the hospital, people that wasn't able to visit with their loved ones. It brings me back to our elderly and what the governor of New York did by signing that executive order.
That's right.
Ordering those COVID-19 patients in with our elderly. He wasn't the only one that did it. We also had the governor in Michigan.
Yeah, but you can't argue that people can't. Why can't families be with their dying COVID relative? They're probably just dying of old age and cancer anyways, so they couldn't be there. And then turn around and make the case that you should be able to slam Cuomo because he put people together. Make up your fucking mind. Either you can't have people in there because it will kill them, or everybody should be able to go and visit their dying relative because it's very sad and they shouldn't have to die alone and the disease is fake.
And I believe the governor of Pennsylvania is being alleged have done this. What's going to be done about this? Because in our opinion, this is crimes against humanity. So what could be done about this?
Yeah, tell us.
Well, not only was it Governor Cuomo and the governor of Pennsylvania, but it's also Joe Biden's new deputy health secretary, transvestite, Dr. Rachel Levine.
Rachel Levine is transgender, not a transvestite. That would be a man who wears women's clothing but is still a man.
I mean, this is insanity. So that's what we have going on. We're putting the trans up there in charge. The same.
And why is that funny? Are you making fun of her because her hair isn't hers?
And trans doctor, him. I refuse to call him she. That put COVID patients in there, but he pulled his mother out. He pulled his mother out of the nursing home. And then let them go in there and kill people. You know what they're bankrupting? They're bankrupting.
That's what you did. So clear it out. We're going to burn the place down.
Everything in America, but they're trying to bankrupt our spirit. And we
Well, that's easy. I mean, you guys are. I mean, soul wise, you're basically a jar with a couple of coins in it.
cannot allow that to happen. We cannot allow these horrible things and all of the things that we think we've lost. We cannot let it bankrupt our spirit, because if we can hold on to our spirit and
hold on to our spirit
and who we know we are in the eyes
who we know in the eyes of the Lord,
of God, and
in the eyes of God. I know who I am. I'm a bigot and I'm a liar, and I can make shit up and just kind of talk very judgmentally about people, because if you really think about it, Jesus was a socialist sap, and we shouldn't follow him because obviously he is evil.
And who we know we are as Americans, and stay together on that, then we will win, and we'll come out of this, and we'll.
This is straight up. I mean, move over, Kennedy. Here comes the rousing. I can already feel my spirit lifting.
We'll beat them, and we'll come out stronger and more.
We'll keep them stronger,
united than ever before.
And more united than ever.
Because you know what's so
because
great?
You know what?
And Trump showed
Trump
us this, and he paved the way.
He did. He paved the way for everyone. He paved the way and
Q-snatch.
All right.
And truly made it possible. And this is what I love about the MAGA movement.
Yeah, it's wonderful. It's like a home.
And who we're the Republican Party and how it's grown over the past 4 years.
It's actually shrunk. A lot of people changed their party affiliation after the election, and especially after the 6th, there was a spike.
Is we defy everything that they say and lie about us. We prove constantly.
What are you talking about? You were just literally bigoted and against the educating of minors who are in custody.
That we aren't racist.
What are you talking about? You're angry that Democrats put stuff in the bill for child care.
Racist. We prove constantly that we want every American to succeed.
No, you don't, actually. Because you're trying to stop a good portion of them from voting.
We prove constantly that whether you started out homeless or poor, or no matter who you are and how you started out.
Yeah, whether you're just, I don't know, you were a tantric sex guru who works as a trainer, or you're my husband. I can go either way.
We want you to be able to succeed as an American. Yeah. And so I just urge people, when we talk about these things, don't let them bankrupt your spirit. And don't let them steal it away.
No, don't let them.
Because it's not gone. It's just it just looks dark right now.
Yeah.
It just looks. Thank you for saying that. They may try and bankrupt this country, but they won't bankrupt our spirit.
No, it's beautiful. It's wonderful. I can't wait to get my new tramp stamp.
I love it.
I have another quick question, because I know.
Yeah, please.
Oh, you got to go. I want to just ask you a question about the Supreme Court justice.
Yeah, ask him about, because it's really that, Trump knocked it out of the park. Every single one of them has been siding with him, guaranteed his position. They were all perfect choices. They came off the Heritage Club's, Heritage Foundation's list, so he didn't really, it's not like leadership if you're just, picking something from a menu.
Okay. What are they? Why do we even have them in place?
Yeah.
If they
yeah, what do we even have a Supreme Court for if they won't do what we tell them to?
won't take and defend and uphold the Constitution like they said in their oath that they will do.
Yes, their oath.
Why are they even here in place?
Yeah, why do we even have a Supreme Court if they won't read their oath the way I read their oath?
Well, I know we've been disappointed with Brett Kavanaugh.
Yeah, I know. You had so many hopes for him, though. Ladies, didn't you? When he was going through, didn't you go, oh, you know what? At least finally someone who's there to support what I want and need.
Recently, and
terrible.
And disappointed with our new Amy Coney Barrett.
Yeah, she was supposed to be ACB. She was going to replace, perfect. Last second, she was going to slide in and give Trump the presidency.
On the Supreme Court, we were disappointed in how they ruled on President Trump's case on the election.
Or lack thereof, but.
And our great Supreme Court Justice, Thomas Clarence. He wrote that.
Thomas Clarence. He's great. He's probably, if I had to pick, yeah, I'm going to have to go. Thomas Clarence is such a good person. Yeah, Amy Coney Barrett. Yeah. So, I'm sorry, who are we talking about again?
Bankrupt this country, but they
The Constitution, like they said in their oath that they would do, why are they even here in place?
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I know we've been disappointed with Brett Kavanaugh recently, and disappointed with our new Amy Coney Barrett.
Yeah,
on the Supreme Court. We were disappointed.
Yeah, Amy Coney Barrett. I mean, she's really let us down. Maybe it's because she was, she's originally, James Comey's sister, I guess. How do we not see that coming, man?
And how they ruled on President Trump's case on the election, and our great Supreme Court Justice Thomas Clarence.
Thomas Clarence. He's so good. Alito Samuel is very bad, but I like Thomas
wrote
Clarence.
that dissension about that, and
he wrote a dissension. That's right. His dissension was probably the best.
And it was like, oh my God.
Oh my God. It's almost like, kind of like winning by losing.
Gosh, at least there's one.
At least there's one in a minority of the votes who will write something, to make a terrible case.
And that's how it all opened our eyes. And we said, at least there's one.
Yeah, we all opened our eyes. And we just, thank God there was Thomas Clarence.
I don't know. I'm just as disappointed as you are about
probably more
about that. And I wish so much. I think they're scared. I think.
Yeah, that's what it is. They're just, the Supreme Court's just, they're cowards. I would argue all these new Republicans and the of course the Republicans who were already there, they're all just afraid. They're just cowards. Every time Republicans put someone on there, they're just too afraid.
I think all these judges
they're being bullied.
Well,
oh yeah, that's what it is. They're being pushed around the schoolyard.
And they're terrified.
Oh my God. There's a Latina woman there. She's probably got them all in a headlock.
So imagine if you are the judge.
Okay. Kneel before Zod. No, that's wrong.
That takes on the one case about the election, right?
You're the judge. All right.
So you know what happens to that judge?
Yeah, what happens?
They get all the pressure of the media, all the pressure of
oh, it's terrible. If only there were 9 judges and they could all kind of take on the
left. All the pressure of the rhinos.
All of it. All the rhinos. That's what they're scared of.
That wanted
Trump. All the nasty looks they were getting from Mitt Romney.
To fail all along, and they're so happy and celebrating now that he's out. And so that judge would have to withstand all of that pressure.
Who could withstand all that pressure with Liz Cheney going, and Mitt Romney going,
I'm hoping.
I mean, who among us, wouldn't just collapse under the weight of granted, we, spent our entire lives in, going to law school and working our way up, and eventually we got a lifetime appointment on the Supreme Court, which literally puts us above all other elected officials, and there's nothing they could do to take us out of our job. But I can understand how you'd be afraid.
We see a judge do the right thing, but I think in all honesty, that's what's happening.
Let me say this.
Yeah, please step in.
When you take that oath to uphold the Constitution, your personal perspective is not supposed to be in place.
No, your personal perspective, your life path, your experience, your time on the bench, none of that stuff matters at all.
It's supposed
your political party. So there really shouldn't be any conservatives on the bench. I see what you're saying.
to be about the law and being unlawful.
Yep.
You're supposed to be there to decide that.
Yeah, balls and strikes, right. Mostly balls.
Period. It's supposed to be bipartisan, not partisan based off of, I'm scared to touch this because...
That's not a partisan thought. That's just cowardice. Unless you're saying Republicans are cowards, in which case I'm with you.
Why are you in that position to do a job?
I know. How in the world can you even, as a prospect, think
I know he can get the job, but can he do the job?
I know, it's
And
tough.
you're not doing your job.
I know.
I know he can get the job, but can he do the job?
Right.
Why are our tax dollars being used to pay them for their services
Yeah, if they're not servicing us and our needs versus the Constitution.
if they're not rendering their services?
Yeah, I know.
As the Supreme Court Justice, when you take that oath to uphold the Constitution
Yeah, why? Yeah, Marge, next time you're up there, ask them, will ya?
and to protect the Constitution,
Right. That why that doesn't mean giving you guys what you want.
if the Constitution have been broken,
Broken.
you're supposed to be there to say yay or nay.
Nay. I would say nay to a broken Constitution. Why would anyone say yay to a broken Constitution? Oh, right. Sorry, Thomas Clarence.
Not sit back and fold and go cold.
Because there's no other law that supersede our Constitution.
That's right.
Mm-mm.
Yes, that's right. No, and you're absolutely right. And they
Well, except every law that we've done, the amendments, and then anytime we write a law that gets a challenge in court that stands up under the Constitution or varies it and broadens its meaning, like women being able to vote, people of color being able to vote, getting rid of anti-miscegenation laws, which were predicated on the 3/5 clause.
should do it. And another issue is this: is all of these cases, they have thousands of people that have signed these affidavits at risk of perjuring themselves.
No, they weren't. None of them. None of them have actually signed an affidavit that I've read anyways, and thousands of them is a loose term. There are dozens that will get presented in court, hundreds according to Rudy Giuliani. No one's ever put forth thousands until Marjorie Greene, but I think she just means pages. Let's give her the benefit of the doubt. But all the people who signed those, all of them are about perception. I believed I saw. Well, you can't get busted for perjury for saying I believed I saw. You can just be found wrong. You can still stand in your belief, and as long as you go, unless you don't roll over and confess that you were lying outright, you won't get found in contempt or perjuring yourself. You'll just be presenting your perceived view of events.
Go to jail if they are caught lying about
You can't catch somebody lying based on perception.
what they are, witnesses
Alleging that they witnessed.
to with election fraud.
Thank you, Robin.
And if anything, their voices should be heard.
Yeah, they should. Let's hear all these, because let's just redo the elections again. Let's cancel the votes of 81 million people.
Have everything to lose. These attorneys and all.
Why do they have everything to lose? They lost. They have everything to win, in theory, but they can't convince anyone because it's bullshit.
These other people, they don't have anything to lose. They didn't sign their name like that.
Right.
But yeah,
every voter signs their name that the information they provided in their registration is lawful and true. Every voter. Every voter. So thousands of affidavits versus millions of voters.
our judges, they should hear it.
They should. I mean, they shouldn't, but
They should
because you lost.
like you said, they signed up for the job.
Yeah, they signed up for the job, and one of the jobs is looking at a case and going, we only have limited time. This is bullshit. We don't have to do this one.
And a lot of pressure comes with that.
That's right.
Well, here's the takeaway, you all, that I want you all to know. First of all, we have to put a little pressure on our senator.
Yes, write and call. Don't tweet.
So make sure that you contact.
They don't pay attention to tweets. They only fear Trump's, and now that he's off, they don't even go on Twitter.
Them to let them know. Do not pass this HR 1.
That's right.
Okay, this Equality Act, don't pass that, or this defunding the police, because none of these things make sense, and we already explained that.
Well, they don't make sense because you're describing them poorly, and you are describing them as they are not.
And the one thing that Margie said, listen,
we're almost done. I'm so over these people.
They may bankrupt this country.
No. They're going to keep the country from going bankrupt because without stimulus, the economy will collapse. Ask Jerome Powell, noted liberal.
But don't let them bankrupt our spirits.
Never.
Oh, it's so beautiful.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love that. It's wonderful. It's the name of her new book.
And don't forget to write Call, do it.
Unless you're an immigrant child with no education, because you won't be able to write or operate a phone because we don't want you to have a teacher to show you how to operate.
What you need to do.
Yeah.
We have
Yes.
to take back our country.
That's right.
It's up to us to do the work.
What? I thought you were just saying, no to parties.
We have the power.
We have the power.
So we
I got the power.
have to use
Have all the power. The people have all the power.
Yes, they do, and they beat Trump 81 million to 74.
So use it.
Jesus.
Use it.
Thank you so much. Thank you so
Margaret Taylor.
much for joining us, Congresswoman.
She's coming and he's a little bit mean.
Thank you for being on the show.
Oh, Congresswoman, maybe she's a congressman. We don't know with these trans testicles. We can't seem to understand what's going on.
Thanks for having me on, and please come see me sometime.
We will.
I'll take you all around, and you can show everybody what's going on.
We're all just
Thank
hanging
you.
out and
Okay, thanks.
Say hi to Thomas Clarence for me.
Oh, that was a great conversation.
It was.
Phenomenal. With great
Yeah, it was amazing.
information.
Wow.
Oh, what a lovely show. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, well, I lost time off my life. That was a complete waste. But, it's nice to see what you guys are up to and see what she's saying so that I know, kind of have ammo for my arguments when I push back against it. It's helpful for me to look at you guys all gathered in your natural bullshit habitat, everybody on the right, kind of talking amongst yourself when you think nobody who disagrees with you listens, so that I can recognize the bullshit that's coming our way later on and the kind of stuff you'll be blathering about as HR 1 makes its way through the Senate. It's very helpful because I'll know what arguments she's going to be making, what you're going to be making, and I'll be prepared because I don't fear any of the conversation that you just had because I find it pathetic and ignorant and mean-spirited and gross, and in her case especially, bigoted.
Yeah. Make sure you start right now. Make sure you subscribe to this podcast.
No, I'm not going to subscribe to it. It's bad enough that it shows up in my feed sometimes.
So each time we drop a new episode,
I'll be there to pick it up.
you will receive notification. And don't forget about our book,
Oh, I already forgot about it. You have to remind me again?
Uprising.
It's How to Two Girls, One Mic.
Who the hell said you can't ditch and switch the awakening of diamond and silk? You can get
That's a lot. You might want to the title should have fewer words than the book itself.
the book at diamondandsilkbookstore.com.
And nowhere else.
And if you would like to advertise on this podcast,
I kind of do.
feel free to send an email to
info@diamondandsilk.com. That's info@diamondandsilk.com. And if you're tired of being censored by all these other social media platforms, then join Diamond and Silk.
Yeah,
Chatterbait. ChatterBait.com. And don't forget to give us a review, and a 5-star will do.
Listen, we was just coming to give y'all the 211. We call it the 211 because it's two of us.
And we're the ones
It's not the 411, which would be information. Nobody uses that anymore.
giving it to you.
So in the meantime and in between time, we will see you all
Well, meantime. I think you should call this show Meantime.
next time, right?
Especially when you're talking about migrant children. Maybe you should have a segment called Meantime, and it's just you talking about toddlers brought illegally into any country. It doesn't have to be this one. I mean, you could do worldwide and the abuse that they suffer and how you think they deserve it.
Here on
That'd be a great idea.
Diamond and Silk, the podcast.
Bye-bye.
It's a good going on. We're leaving now, and it's always doing something. And goodbye now.
Hey.
Oh,
Y'all. Okay, so you all keep asking us, when are you all going to get the Chatted app? When are you all going to get
Yeah, when is it?
Chatted app? Wait,
Now.
Y'all, here's the ways where you can get Chatted on your phone. So each time we drop a Chatted post, you will.
Oh, so you get you take a website page and you just hit the little download thing and it puts it on your home screen.
Receive notification. So here's what you do.
You go to a pond and you throw your phone in.
You go to any search bar on.
Uh-oh. She does not look happy. If this was my ringer, I'd be like, shit, I'm in trouble again.
Your phone. You key in Chatted, ChatTDI.
Yeah, don't show your login info.
.com.
Abs, you do, yeah.
Once the page come up,
Uh-huh.
you click on the bubbles. At the
bubbles.
very top, once you click on that, it's going to say add to home screen.
Uh-huh. Did I call it? I mean, you can do that with a Facebook page. Christ.
You click on add to home screen and
Home screen. I'm going to add it to my home screen later on, promise.
voila. It's
And woo-la. Is that just a Trump thing? Woo-la?
on your desktop on your phone. So each time Diamond and Silk drop a chatted post or a video,
I'll be there to pick it up?
you will
Oh, God, this is so depressing.
receive notification.
Oh, good.
I'm sorry, we have to work around these tech giants.
Yeah, you have to work around them because you can't actually form a site. You just started a Ning thing, and you're not going to pay for the actual Breakout app that you can pay for because nobody uses it. So,
Because they're
son of a bitch.
raining down their tyranny, and we
Jesus.
can't let that happen.
That's right.
So just follow those directions.
Yeah, just follow those direct. Yeah, just make
And you will stay connected to Diamond
connected. You want to be connected.
and Silk.
Uh-huh.
So now that Diamond have shown you and told you what to do,
Do it.
go do it now.
That's right.
Chat it. CHAT.
Yeah, we know it. CHADITTN04K7216. Chad Chittitis. Burmesia. Chatterbait.
The company that his son worked for, that's Burmese. The Burmese executives. So this Burmesia, they say, pronounce it Burmesia. Burmesia.
All right, we're almost done. It's been just a great show today, honestly.
Transvestites.
Got a lot of shout outs today's show. I was very surprised. And so did states' rights.
The biggest loser is the state with the shortest stick.
And I think a lot of us recognize that
Q-snatch.
there are a lot of people that are very afraid that there'll be just too many
Transvestites.
running all over the country, and that states, the states that won't be able to handle
The
it.
biggest loser is the state with the shortest stick.
So what are they going to do? What do you do in that situation? You know what I mean? Especially, when, like, Rudy Giuliani, I mean, his concern, obviously.
Viciously and horribly attacking the white race.
So I don't know why I have an ad for Chatted up on the goddamn thing. Go to, there, that's a better logo. Hi, I'm Hal Sparks. Thanks for watching my show. I appreciate it. Where you can actually make it through the stuff that everybody else lies about you. Hold on. Why is this? I gotta move this over. That's better. Lies about you and says, you don't even watch what they're talking about. You don't even hear what they're saying. You hear stuff out of context. You hear all these little cuts of pieces, blah, blah, blah. You don't hear the real thing. They're just taking it out. Not me, not here, and not you. After this is done, I'm also going to post the entire text of H.R. 1 so that you have that if you want to peruse it, and as well as the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act. And so just kind of have that. Of 2020, by the way, because that's when it was actually drafted. And so over the next, little bit, if you want to peruse through those kind of things, you'll have those. Oh yeah, I've got 80s band hair right now. Hold on, I don't have to have these in for the rest of this thing, so I can full on let it. I was putting my headphones on, but it's like, yeah, it's full on getting there. It was the other day. I was like, the wind picked it up, and I was like, it's getting heavy enough where it doesn't actually blow it off my shoulders. I'm like, this is so exciting. I'm so excited. I can't wait till it's here. This is my goal length on the front. Is just below the collarbone, right about here. And then in the back, I want it about mid-back. That's the goal. That's where we're going to do it, and it's just going to be plumage at this point. I'm peacocking from now on. I don't care. If I've learned anything from COVID, it's the whole DGAF segment of my life has now started. for the record. Thanks, Dan. I appreciate it. And I appreciate you guys being with me today. Thanks, everybody, for supporting the show. Those who helped us with our hype trains, people who super chatted, everybody on Facebook who's given us bits and the like. And again, thank you to the trolls who actually think they're making progress here, who actually think they're changing charts and minefields and fail miserably each time. But I really appreciate you guys being here, inflating our numbers, because it really does. I gotta say, we got good numbers on this show. We really do. I'm impressed all the time when I look behind the scenes and see how many viewers I have and watch minutes, and especially when I'm not on. People who watch it later, thank you guys so much, because that adds to it. But there's a good solid 12% of hate watchers, just trolls. And I have to say, you guys, that's often the algorithm difference. That's why I've started showing up in the Twitter suggestion feed and the YouTube suggestion feed for a lot of people. It's because you guys have just crusted me over that extra 10%. It's a beautiful thing. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart. I really do. So, and to everybody else, I adore you. I will see you at the regular time tomorrow at 3 p.m. Pacific time. And then on and on we go. Now the vote, by the way, do we have word, before I sign off, on the actual vote on the COVID relief bill in the House? I believe it was supposed to be relief House vote. Let's see, has it happened yet? Oh, Wednesday morning. Okay, so tomorrow morning, that's a good one. Okay, so tomorrow, obviously, there'll be some stuff being taken up, but tomorrow morning is the vote on this. So it's going to pass, and more than likely, while I'm on the air, Biden will sign it into law. So that'll be a good time. That will definitely bring the trolls out of the woodwork. So yeah, and don't forget to like and subscribe and share the show, please, with friends, family, enemies, anybody who you think will hate watch me as well. Yes, 1 p.m. Hawaii time is when I'm on. If only I could be doing this show from Hawaii one day. Wouldn't that be nice? Yes. I guess my goal at this point is to either be a Reverend Gene Scott without the disgusting facial hair, or Rush Limbaugh without coal for a heart. I think it's a career move. It scares my agents, and it's gonna be yeah. I'm glad you love my hair even more now. My agent hates it, but I don't care, because from this point on, I'm only doing like Game of Thrones and post-apocalyptic stuff. So cheers. Bye, everybody.
My fellow Americans,
Q-snatch. The stroker.
The biggest loser is the state with the shortest dick.
The stroker.
The white race.
Listen, I'm not here to blow wind up your wazoo.
All I'm offering is the truth. Groovy. I'm telling you straight. It's my way or the highway. So anybody who wants to walk, do it now.
Call me Snake.
I'm a land farmer, motherfucker!
Nice. Not thrilling, but nice.
Did have shade.
I was thinking of the immortal words of Socrates, who said,
To be a moron, to be moronical, an imbecile, like the dumbest motherfucker that ever lived.
I'd like to kick his ass just once.
Gentlemen, you can't fight in here. This is the war room.
You lied to me! Well, it's a well-known fact, Sonny Jim, that there's a secret society of the 5 wealthiest people in the world, known as the Pentaverate, who run everything in the world, including the newspapers, and meet tri-annually at a secret country mansion in Colorado known as the Meadows.
So who's in this Pentaverate?
The Queen, the Vatican, the Gettys, the Rothschilds, and Colonel Sanders before he went tits up.
He stands now!
Let me put it this way, Mr. Raymer. The 9000 series is the most reliable computer ever made. No 9000 computer has ever made a mistake or distorted information. We are all, by any practical definition of the words, foolproof and incapable of error.
Michigan gave us Motang. Yosemites, Yosemites.
Man, I'm tired of being right.
It's good to be the king.
Somebody like that can write good.
We're going to be appointing very pro-crime judges.
Sportos, motorheads, geeks, sluts, bloods, wastoids, dweebies, dickheads. They all adore him. They think he's a righteous dude.
They're not allowed to be offensive, unfortunately.
I got news for you, pal. You ain't leading but 2 things right now. Jack and shit. And Jack left town.
People coming over with bags of soup, big bags of soup.
Shop smart, shop S-smart.
Dr. Evil. Dr. Evil. Dr. Evil.
I'd like to kick his ass just once.
I'm your father, Luke. Give in to the dark side of the Force, you knob.
We've got entirely too many troublemakers here.
Something strange happened to me this morning. Was it a dream where you see yourself standing in sort of sun god robes on a pyramid with 1,000 naked women screaming and throwing little pickles at you? No. Why am I the only person that has that dream?
Man, you are one pathetic loser.
It's like I picked the wrong week to quit amphetamines.
So that's the kind of fight it's gonna be.
Take off, eh?
It's not Irish. It's not English.
How are you?
Fair, what is my kindness with the horses, you know? It's just, well, it's just pikey.
Sorry, I farted.
Leon's getting larger.
I am a HAL 9000 computer.
You are physically repulsive, intellectually retarded, vulgar, insensitive, selfish, stupid. You have no taste, a lousy sense of humor, and you smell.
He's real nice. If I didn't have puke breath, I'd kiss you.
Would you classify that as a launch problem or a design problem? Would you classify that as a launch problem or a design problem?
Yosemites, Yosemites.
I was thinking of the immortal words of Socrates, who said, I drank what?
We have that. It's as wide as it can be.
Butthole!
Wah-wah-wee-wah!
Shop smart, shop S-smart. All right, you primitive screwheads, listen up.
They're not allowed to be offensive, unfortunately.
Just looking around here, I can tell you're a genuinely dirty person.
Captain's log.
Voila. Fighting for Iowa values. Fighting for Iowa values. They don't like the gas. Fighting for Iowa values. They don't like the gas.
Just the facts, ma'am.
Fighting for Iowa values. They don't like the gas.
Just the facts, ma'am.
He thinks I made it up.
Unbelievable.
Just the facts, ma'am.
A chat with you and somehow death loses its sting. That's amazing. How did you do that?
We're going to be appointing very pro-crime judges.
Captain's log.